Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. We are back in the kingdom of the ape. We are back going on day number 30 straight of the show, the debate. Here we debate Christians. You can watch a undereducated hick from Alabama perform an intellectual takedown of the Christian doctrine and logic on the regular. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ghost. Good morning, Rick. We're all piling in quick today. Just turned her on. Hope everybody's having a great morning. I'm feeling pretty good today. Good morning, buddy. Good morning, buddies. Good morning, buddy. Y'all know what time it is. It's that time. The top of the morning to you. We are doing it again. Day number 30. Putting day number 30 in the book. Passing a kidney stone. Good Lord. That sounds horrible. I had no idea how bad those were. I came to work one morning and there was a guy laying on the floor face down. But he had his arms like straight beside him. He was laying like a board. And all the lights were out and stuff. And I was like, I thought he had a heart attack or something. But he was laying really strange too. And anyway, I was like, bro, are you okay? Like started shaking. He goes, yeah, don't touch me. He said, turns out he had a kidney stone. It was locked up completely though. He said it was the worst pain he ever been in. I had no idea they got that bad. I mean, I knew they must be pretty bad, but I ain't know like that. I believe you though. I don't want to. I've never had one, fortunately. And I don't want to. Fireline Brian. Hang out for just a second if you requested up to debate on purpose, buddy. We're going to give it a couple more minutes and let everybody roll in. Let a few more folks roll in anyway. Yeah, just hang out another minute or two and we'll bring you up and talk, buddy. And we'll get the day started. Again. Yeah, I believe you, man. I can imagine that's quite horrible. Well, we got a few people requested up already, so maybe it'll be a good day for that. Anyway, today's subjects are Bible morals are a bad joke, one of our favorites. If God is just, I'm the Pope, also one of our favorites. And our absolute favorite, Jesus don't fulfill single prophecy. And the Trinity is incoherent. These are the topics for today. Y'all know how we roll. Sometimes we bounce around a little bit. But for the most part, we just stick to that. After debate Christians here, I go for ideal jugulars. I don't engage in silly philosophical arguments that don't get nobody nowhere. Using big words that I don't know what they mean. I just take them as disrespect if that's what happens. But, you know, that's how we roll in here. We get to the point. Because we like to wake people up to this awful scam that is religions. Yeah, I agree. That's why I don't. I mean, even if I was, like, I know some philosophy stuff, but I'm not. You can argue that kind of crap till you're blue in the face. Ain't nobody actually gonna. Christian pseudo-apologists. I do not. Never heard of them, actually. Never heard of the J train there. Never heard of them. Down to one person in the queue. Hang out like 30 more seconds, maybe a minute tops, and I'll bring you up. We're going to try to let at least 10 or 15 people jump up in here, and then we'll get the day started, and that's when folks really pour in there when we're talking. In the meantime, y'all, please tap that screen if you're watching. That's what helps start pumping us out into the world. That's what gets the Christians in here to debate us on. That'd be cool if he came up. Like, I don't really care to go on other people's channels for the most part. Just like if I just happen to jump on when they take somebody up and I know what they're talking about, they'd probably be all right. But I've tried to like wait on a few. I don't know. It's just hard for me to sit there and listen to somebody preach and all that till it's my turn. So I don't even bother with it most of the time. All right. Well, let's see if the first person's still here. and we'll get this a rolling. It's connecting. Hello, who's that there? You there?
Hello.
Oh,
Yes, I'm
hello. I
here.
don't know what your name is, so.
It's in Greek. Simply says Greek there. In Greek.
Oh, it just says Greek. Oh, okay. Oh, I can't read Greek, but anyway. So, are you over 18?
I'm a Christian, and for specific reasons, actually, I'm an Orthodox Christian. And one of the reasons that I'm an
But
Orthodox
but you're over
Christian,
18, right?
sorry?
You're over 18?
Yes, I'm over 18. Yes, yes. Yes.
Okay, good,
Actually,
good.
I'm.
Just got to confirm that for the live here.
Yeah.
But which one of these topics you want to debate us on here today?
Well, about the Trinity, because I'm a monarchic Trinitarian, and I follow the Cappadocian Father's way to explain the Trinity. God is one first and foremost because of the Father God. The Father God is alive from eternity, and he has inside of him an activity, an action, a function to show that he's alive. And what that action is that he begets his Son and proceeds his Spirit. So the Son and the Spirit have a cause. The Father is with no cause, but all these are not in the temporal sense or the sense of creativity, of creation. That's the best way to sort of go towards the meaning how the Trinity exists. We don't
Okay.
start from
Well,
an essence,
all
from
right.
God
So
being an essence.
just to be clear though, you think Jesus is God himself, yeah?
Jesus as the person seen on earth is God and man, not only God.
So he's not
If you're
God
talking
or is
about
God?
no, God and man also,
So
the
he's both. He's
person,
God and man.
yes, the person seen as Jesus Christ that walked on earth at that period that's mentioned in Scripture.
Okay. So if Jesus is God, how come he doesn't know things that God knows and he has a separate will than God?
Now, look, my friend, because I read Koine Greek, I don't read any translations of the New Testament, and I even pray in that language, even in home prayer books. I know some meanings of the words that in Greek have a different meaning. For example, if you go to John 14:28, there's the word greater there. But if you go in the Greek
Well,
text,
sure, but I'm just asking a question. Could you just answer the question?
he knows everything because we see that in
He don't know
16,
everything.
20
Jesus says only
John.
God knows certain things that Jesus doesn't know. That's what I'm asking you.
That's, yes, first of all, you have to understand that verses in Scripture are written, as Paul says, for the economia. He uses that Greek word. What does that mean? They are verses that simply show what God does for the salvation of humanity. Those verses can show Jesus Christ, God, a created nature. He was anointed. He grew in wisdom, in power, and knowledge. He submitted to the Father. All those are not for the person of the Logos, the Word, but for the work that he's doing to save humanity. He, as the last Adam, doesn't rebel against the Father, does correct what's
I
supposed
got you, but
Adam to do.
I'm getting kind of lost here. Listen. So why? Just tell us simply. Why does Jesus not know things that God knows if he is God?
He knows everything. If you're
He
referring
doesn't
to
know certain
Mark,
stuff though.
can you show me a verse that says he doesn't know and
Yeah,
explained
he
it?
said no one knows the day or the hour except the Father.
Okay, if you go there, you see the word there, Eden. The Greek word there is Eden. But if the same word now, look, is used in Revelation 12, and sorry, 19:12, that says that Jesus Christ there has a name that nobody knows except him. In your logic now, as nobody knows except Jesus, would mean that the Father doesn't know. So it makes Jesus a God. The word there actually, what he wants to say with that word in Mark 13, 20, 32,
So
is
you're
to
just reversing
declare.
course though. So hey, listen, we got to have an actual conversation here. So you're saying Jesus does know that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you can see that in John 16,
Okay, so
28.
why does Jesus say he doesn't know that?
Because for that he wants to show that the declaration, that declare of the hour is always done from the Father. He's the
So you're
source
saying he
of
did know,
everything.
he's just saying that he didn't know.
Yes, but go on your
Oh,
logic
okay. Well,
now and
that's called
say,
lies.
no, look, go on your
Yeah.
logic. If someone doesn't know something, does
I'm
that
an
mean he's
implied
not
logic,
God?
yeah. I'm just asking why Jesus would be, if Jesus is God, how come he doesn't know stuff that only God knows? That's what I'm trying to ask you, but I don't feel
Yes,
like we're
my
getting
friend,
there.
because the meaning of that verse is to declare the hour. First of all, what's the hour? What's going to happen at that hour that he's mentioned there? What's
The
the
day of
hour?
judgment, the end of the
Yeah,
age.
who will judge, Jesus Christ said, the day of judgment? He
Only God
himself.
can do that. That's why it's
Yes,
insane to
but
think that Jesus is God, because he's just a man.
yes, but it's Jesus Christ in Matthew 25, 31 to 46, he says, I will judge for eternal life
Yeah, I
as
know.
King Lord.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's
So,
absurd.
so how can someone judge for eternal life if he is not deity? And I said to
He
you,
he
the
can't. Yeah, that's
declare of
why
the
I get
hour
your
is
logic.
the
Like you
Father.
have to make him God himself to be doing judgments, but at the same time, it doesn't make any sense. It's illogical.
Yes,
It's
but
incoherent.
okay, let's say, going for the sake of your argument with your point, that Jesus Christ, because he doesn't know the hour, he's not God. In the same
Right.
sense, there we have to
Well, they
use
have
that
separate
logic.
wills too.
Look, in the same logic that you used for Jesus not knowing the hour, we have to use it in Revelation 19, when the text says that the name he has is known only to him. No one else knows it. So God the Father doesn't know his name. As the text says, no one else knows it. Understand?
Okay, so why does, if Jesus is God, why does he beg God to take the burden from him and say, "Do you are you there?"
Sorry?
So why does Jesus beg God to remove this burden from him and say, "Do your will, but not mine"?
Because, as I said before, that's what Paul says as economia, the plan of God for salvation. Jesus Christ has got a human created nature. He grew in wisdom. He was
He's
anointed. He
talking
grew
to
in knowledge
himself,
and
though, right?
power. No, all those are done for the humanity of
Who was
salvation.
he talking to when he asked that this burden be
To the,
removed from him?
to the person of the Father, he doesn't
So he was
rebel
talking to
against the
God,
Father
right?
as Adam did.
He's
Yes,
talking to
they are
God,
distinct
which is
persons.
him, right?
No, it's the person of the Father.
Oh,
God is a
so
triune
Jesus
monad.
isn't God.
Yes, but God is not is a multi-personality persons. He's three
What, like a
persons.
split personality?
No, because the
Oh.
existence of the person come from the Father. I mean, the Father has an activity from eternity to beget and proceed.
So God is the Father, right?
Yes, yes, God from God.
Right.
If
Okay.
you read
So
the
so God is the Father, and
well,
Jesus is God, but Jesus isn't the Father, right?
correct, the term God can be used
Correct.
for the persons, from the
Okay.
essence, from the energies, from the operations of
So
God. You
that
can use
makes
this
no
for the
sense
word.
at all to me.
Yes, it makes sense if you understand that God, the Father, from eternity has an activity. How can he show? How can he show that he's alive if he didn't have any activity?
Does God fear Himself?
No, he communicates his essence to the other two persons. He is by nature a communion, a union, a communion and
So
relationship.
in
You
Isaiah, when it says
presuppose, my
this
friend,
Messiah is going to
listen,
come,
listen.
His delight will be in fear of the Lord. How does it make sense that that's Jesus if God fears Himself?
Look, in your mindset, you presuppose that God has to be a monad, just a unique person that doesn't communicate with no one. That's in your mindset. You start from the
That's
the
not
one
my
essence of
mindset.
God.
My mindset is, why is Jesus talking to Himself if He is God,
Now he's talking to the Father God because
which
he is the
is
one.
Him?
No, it's not him. It's a distinct
It is
person.
Him. You're saying Jesus is God.
Yes, but the word God, also the energy of God can be called God. The operation of God can be called God.
Either
The
way,
meaning
he's
of the
talking to
word God
himself.
has
You're
different
saying the
meaning.
same being is asking himself questions and removing burdens from himself.
It depends now what you mean by being. Being can be the essence, being can be in the person. It depends on what you mean by being. You can use
I
that
mean, be
terminology
God.
for the essence and the persons. I mean, what I'm
I mean, be
telling you
God.
is that, yes, what I'm telling you, that God by essence is a union and a communion of persons. But that union is one because they bear the same
Yeah,
essence.
they're
In your
one.
mindset,
So
when
it
you say
makes
God, you're
no
supposed to
sense
see
that
one
they are
person.
talking to each other.
Communion means more than talking, means relationship. I mean, that shows they are alive. God is personal. God is a communion. God has a movement from eternity. If God was one person, first of all, he can't be a person to define the word person.
Yeah,
And
exactly. So
who
it can't be
was in
Jesus.
communion from eternity? Who was in communion if he was one person?
You're hitting like one logical barrier after another.
No, because you have to overcome your
Yeah.
mindset to believe that God is one person, one essence. That's your problem.
Well,
I
you're
mean,
telling me to
if you don't
accept something
overcome
that's
that,
illogical. Like you've already accepted it, so it's logical to you because you accepted something illogical. But certainly, you don't expect me to think this is normal.
sorry, someone said something to me and I didn't listen to you, my friend.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Here, I'm gonna. It's getting hard to pay attention to you anyway, but we appreciate you coming up. I don't think you made sense of that very well, but we appreciate you trying though. So let's move on here. Well, crap. All right. Well, Jesus is God, and God is the Father, but Jesus isn't the Father, and they talk to themselves. Yeah, it makes no sense. No sense at all. No sense at all. It makes no sense at all that the exact same being is asking himself to remove burdens from himself and saying, do your will, but not my will, person who is also me or being or whatever. Yeah, it makes no sense at all. It's absolutely absurd. And then this Messiah from Isaiah, his delight is supposed to be in fear of the Lord. You heard him say it don't make any sense to say that God fears himself, right? So if God is prophesying a Messiah that's coming that is him, which is way out there. Anyway, yeah, it makes no sense to say God fears himself. That's a bit incoherent. Being is what you are. And a human being a God, ultimate creator of the universe, is patently absurd. Especially when you're trying to claim that Jesus is this Messiah from the Old Testament. And because this Messiah is supposed to come from among the Israelites, raised up among the exiles from the line of David. That ain't where God comes from. So the whole point gets extremely lost in this insane theology. Anyway, y'all please tap that screen. Keep the lights building up. That is what pumps us out into the world here on this fine morning. I don't think I've ever talked to an Orthodox Greek before. That's kind of interesting. But who's getting harder to understand, and who's talking to somebody else there too. And thank you guys. Thank you. Please tap that screen. That's what helps pump us out into the world and gets the Christians seeing us in here to come talk to us. God's understanding is beyond ours. Well, unfortunately, I only have my own understanding, and by my own understanding, this book is a big book of nonsense. And so far, not a single believer has come up here and done even close to a good job of explaining it. We expect them any moment, though. I have immense faith that it will happen. Lots of faith there. Well, they keep rolling through. Maybe we got somebody here.
What's up, man?
Brave Answers, you there? What's up, bud?
Yeah. So you said a being
Sure.
is
But
what you
are you, just a second, are you over 18?
Yeah. 93.
Are you awesome? Are you a Christian?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So which one of these topics was you addressing here?
Well, I'm addressing what the comment that you made to me when I asked you what a being was. You said a being
Mhm.
is what you are. So if we are the same, so if me and you share the same essence and nature, does that make us the same
What's an
person?
essence?
A being? A
Being
being
is
is the
essence?
essence and nature.
I don't know what
A
that means.
being is the essence and nature of the A being is the essence and nature that makes up a person. It's what you are, what you just said, right?
I don't know, does it?
So if we share the same essence and nature, we're the same being, but that doesn't make us the same person, right?
Yeah, if we're not the same person, we're not the same
Right?
being, though.
No, no, no. Track. You just said a
Oh,
being
okay.
is what you are. So a being is the
What a being
essence
is
and
what I am.
nature
My
because the
being is
essence and
me. That's
nature
what I
is
meant.
what you are.
I don't
Yeah,
know what
and
essences
being
are.
is
I don't
the
even know what
essence
that
and
means.
nature.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Attributes. You just said a being is what you are, correct?
I've said, yeah, I
Correct?
said I am me. I'm being
All
me.
right.
Yeah.
So if a being is what you are, and what you are is your essence and nature, does that make us the same person?
No.
All right. So if
No,
me
I'm
and
me and you're
you,
you. And we'll
so
never be
hold
the
on, I'm
same
getting all
person.
right. So if me and you, all right. So if me and you have the same essence and nature, it makes us the same being, but not the same person. So why can't God do the same?
I've said 3 times now, I have no idea what an essence of nature is. I have no idea what you mean by that.
Oh my! Let's try this again. What is a being?
What is an essence?
Your attributes. Can you answer a question? What is a
So
being? Let's
essence
try
is
this again.
attributes. Essence is
Yes, and what
attributes,
is a
right?
being?
What kind of
And what is a
attributes?
being? And what is
What
a
kind of
being?
attributes? What kind of
Like
attributes?
omnipresent, omnipotent, omnipotent. Like
That's
they're the attributes of
that doesn't
God,
make any
right?
sense at all.
That's the being of God, correct? Well, let's try this in a third grader level, and maybe you'll understand.
Yeah, do that. Yeah,
What is a
please.
being again? Let's try this again. What is a being?
I be me.
No,
My
what is
being
a
is who I
being?
am. My attributes.
And is what who you are, is that, does that have the essence and nature?
I have no idea what that means. If you're saying if I have attributes of me, then
Do you
sure.
have attributes? Do you have attributes? Do you have attributes?
Do you have? Do you? Do you? You don't have to ask everything 3 times. I heard you the first time.
Bro,
So yes,
can
I
you
have
answer
attributes.
a see this? Can you answer a question? Okay,
Yeah.
so you have being then, correct?
Hmm.
All right then. So a being is the essence and nature that makes up the person, correct?
Sure.
Correct. All
Sure.
right. So
Maybe I'll
if
say it
me and
louder
you
next
share the
time.
same,
You
okay. So
seem to
if
have something in your
all
ears there.
right. So if me and you share,
Uh,
so when you sit there and stare off in a gaze, that's not you answering a question. Just so you know. So let's try this again. So a being is the essence and nature that makes a person what they are. So if
how many
me and
times
you
do I
share
have to
the
say
same
yes
essence and
before you
nature,
hear the word yes?
okay, so if the Father and the Son share the same essence and nature that makes them
They
the
don't.
same being but not the same person, correct?
They don't. Nope.
All right, so if I show you where the Father says that Jesus has the same nature as him, then what?
Then that's some bogus
Then
words
what?
from the Bible.
Then you're just coping, bro. You're coping. Can you
No, you're
please have an
coping. My
intellectual
question,
conversation with a
listen, yeah,
Christian who
please,
actually
let's
knows what
do.
they're talking
Now,
about?
listen, how does
Go
it
to
make
Hebrews
sense?
chapter 1 and I'll show
Excuse me,
you where the
sir.
Father. I'm going to show you because the
Had to mute you there. You're going to have to let me
he's
talk. I'm the
running.
host up here.
So
I'm not, I'm trying to ask you a question. I was asking that guy, how does it make sense that Jesus has a separate will from God and he's asking God to remove burdens from himself? How does that make sense?
All right. So are we going to just divert from the conversation we're having to run
This is
to
the
your goal
conversation. The
shift?
Trinity is incoherent. I'm talking about the
Bro,
Trinity.
no, it's not that, bro. Okay, and I'm showing you how the Trinity is coherent because the
It's not.
Trinity, what is the Trinity? Tell us what the Trinity is. Tell us what the
Jesus
Trinity is.
being God, Jesus being God himself, and this Holy Spirit also.
No,
You're
that's not
saying
the
three
Trinity.
distinct.
No,
Yes, it
no.
is.
So is Jesus the Holy Spirit under the Trinitarian view?
Yeah.
No, he's not. No,
Yes,
he's
he is.
not.
Do you know what
No,
the
he's
Trinity
not. You
is?
don't even understand. You're arguing against
Do you
something.
know what the Trinity
Yeah,
is?
the Trinity is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Yeah, the
Oh,
Trinity is
wow.
the
That's
Father,
what I
Son, and
just
Holy
said. So
Spirit.
can you track an
Three,
actual simple
three
conversation? Maybe I should
distinct,
ask in third
three
grade terms so
distinct,
you understand it a little bit.
three distinct
Hey, we
persons.
got to actually have a
Is the Father
conversation
the
here,
Son?
buddy.
Is the Father the
Hey,
Son in the
I'm going to
Trinity?
kick you if you don't stop talking.
Is the Father?
I need you to calm down a little bit
He's
so we can
running.
actually talk here. Are you calm? Do you like puppies?
Yeah, I'm waiting on you. Yeah, I'm waiting on you because I
Okay,
don't want you to
so
kick me and
please
run.
answer my question that I asked 5 minutes ago. How does it make sense that Jesus is asking God to remove burdens from himself and he has separate wills than himself? Make that make sense.
For number one, you have to prove he has separate wills. You have to prove that he has separate
That's what
wills
it
from the
says.
Father.
Jesus
For number
says,
one,
God, do your will, not mine.
show me where it says that.
When I show
Yeah,
you,
and
you're
what
going to
does he
admit you're
mean by
wrong?
that
When I
statement,
show
Father,
you,
that
you're
your
going to admit
will
you're
may be
wrong?
done? Show, yeah, where Jesus says
You going to
that
admit you're wrong when I
your
show
will be
you?
done, not mine. Yeah,
When I
no,
show you,
because I
that's
know
what it
what it
says
means.
verbatim. You're going to admit you're wrong, right?
Yeah, and what does it
Okay,
mean?
perfect.
Because Jesus was
All right,
fully
I'm going to
is
tell you.
Jesus
We're going to
fully
read it.
man, fully
Yeah, we're going
God?
to read it.
Is Jesus fully man, fully God?
No, that's incoherent.
So what does it mean that Jesus is fully man, fully God? It
That's an
doesn't matter what you
incoherent
think. What
position
is
that Christians take to try
Are
to
you
cope
doing an
with
internal
Jesus
critique? Are you
being the
doing
judge.
Are you doing an internal?
Listen, I'm
Are
about
you
to
doing an
listen.
internal
Stop
critique
talking. I'm
or
going to read this
external?
verse for you here in just a second.
Yeah, and guys, I'll explain the verse to you because this guy just doesn't track to
No,
save his
you said it
life.
didn't say that. You said it didn't say that, didn't you?
No, I didn't. No, I said it
So you
didn't say
agree
it the
with
way
me
you
it
said
says
it,
that.
and you
So you
don't know
know
what
it
it
says what
means
I'm
is what
saying
I
it
said.
says, right? So you know it says what I'm saying it says, right?
Does it say
Why are
does
you
it
telling
say
me to
that
go
he
read
has two
something if you're
separate wills there?
agreeing on what it says?
Does it say, all right, go read it. I bet you $50 it doesn't say two separate wills there.
It says,
Does it say two
do
separate
your
wills there?
will,
No, it
not
doesn't. So try again.
mine. That's
Does it
separation of
does it
wills, in
say
case you
two
didn't
separate
notice.
does that say two
It
separate
says,
wills?
do your will,
What
not
does it
mine. I don't know
mean
how many
that
times I'm going to have to explain this to you. Can you hear me?
does it say two separate wills?
I'm going to say this one more time. Okay? So you listening?
Bro, you need to go back to
Can
school
you
or
hear
something
me?
because you just
Can
don't know
you
how to
hear me?
read.
Hello? All right. We're going to get somebody up here who's capable of a actual conversation here. This is getting pretty silly. Anyway, yeah, let's go read this crap. You see what they do? It don't say that. And then you say, all right, I'm about to go read it. And they say, okay, it says that, but it don't mean that. And you say, oh, yeah, I know what it means. And then it gets to where you have to show me where it specifically says what I don't want it to say. How dishonest are these people coming up here and arguing like this? That makes no sense, man. Yeah, Mark 14, it says, Abba, Father, all these things are possible for you. Take this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what you will. A clear separation of wills to anybody with a third grade education, which ironically I didn't even get much higher than that. And it makes perfect sense to me. I'm not the one in denial over here. I know what it says. So you can ship my $50. Just message me. And yeah, that's clearly saying two separate wills there. So makes no sense that Jesus has a separate will from the being that he is. It makes no sense at all. Yes, it does. Apparently, it's above your level of thinking, though. See, when I say do your will and not mine, that's a clear separation of wills. That means you have a will you're going to do that is not my will. I know, crazy, crazy, crazy logic, ain't it? No, you can't talk, man. No. You can come back tomorrow. I'm on every day. You can come back tomorrow when you learn how to calm down and talk. I asked you like 4 times to calm down, but I can't. I'm going to bang my head against the wall if I have to answer the same damn question 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, every single time. Like, I don't know if you couldn't hear well or your like ear pods wasn't working or something. Like, I don't know. But repeating myself over and over is not a good way to conversate. Embarrass me. That's hilarious. Yeah, just come back when you're capable of an actual conversation, and then we'll actually talk about it. And then you can explain this incoherent nonsense that you believe in. That'll be great. All right, y'all, please tap that screen for me. Keep us pumping out into the world. We got to get somebody in here who's actual conversation. We've had a few the last few days that were really good, but not so far today. All right, let's see here. Oh, well, that's not who I pushed, but somebody's requested it. Hey, Jesus, you there?
Hey, what's up, bro?
What's up, man? Are you over 18?
Oh yeah, I'm grown. I'm grown.
Good, good. Are you one of the Christians?
Um, I I tend to learn from and appreciate all religions. I wouldn't say I belong to any single one,
Uh, well, I
including
usually just
atheism.
debate Christians in here, but so I don't know.
You said what? I'm sorry.
I said I usually just debate Christians in here.
Oh, I see. I see. Well, I did see your. I see your post that you are an atheist, which I understand. There is well, I was listening to that conversation before. So what's your stance, bro? Could you just tell me your stance on Christianity?
I don't think no is true because the Bible isn't true.
What makes you say that?
It's got too many problems. It's got contradiction after contradiction. It's got failed prophecy. It's got the whoever wrote the New Testament don't have a clue what's going on in the Old Testament. You can tell just by the way it quotes things that's completely out of context. Like it says Jesus is fulfilling prophecies that's not even prophecies sometimes. Sometimes they're not even in the Bible. It's just a whole lot of problems. There's no reason to think it's true though, I don't think.
So I hear that. I have yet to come across any movie or show or religion or practice or spiritual practice or science that got all the answers. Almost everything is flawed because we're all very ignorant about a lot of stuff. This wouldn't even be a debate if we had all the answers, right?
Sure. But I grew up thinking the Bible was perfect, so to my chagrin, when I figured out that it wasn't, my religion didn't last long after that.
Well, I get that too about it not being perfect. As a gay man who grew up Christian, I know how toxic it can be, even though I don't tend to blame God or Jesus as characters for how people tend to present those ideas, you know?
Sure, sure. But a lot of them present those ideas because of this book, though.
Yeah, which is true, but I agree. I agree. The book was written by people, which a lot of Christians forget. I think anybody who goes around like talking like their religion has figured it out has missed the plot of even their own religion. Because I don't think that's even the point of the Bible is to walk around saying, I got it and you don't. I think like many other books, fiction or nonfiction, it's a tool for those that resonate with it. But once you become a slave to it or are in service of the book alone, yeah, I think that's extremely problematic, bro. And I do think it's the problem a lot of the time on both ends. Honestly, I think that if everybody was more open-minded to understand perspectives rather than defend their perspective, we would have a lot more great conversations.
Probably so. Yeah, I agree with that.
Word. Bro, I love your energy very much, man. And I can tell you're
Oh,
open.
thank
A
you.
lot of these debates end up being a shit show. It usually ends up being people just arguing whose religion is more correct. But I wanted to join because I could tell that even though that last discussion you had with that guy got intense, that you are like you're willing to listen. It doesn't seem like you're just like fighting against something, which so I appreciated that and just wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, I let people talk. Like, I want people to feel like they said what they got to say. I just can't keep repeating myself 4 times in a row, though, or explaining the same thing over and over again. I can only do it so long before I start ripping my hair out, so I just move on after that.
That's real shit, bro. I agree. I feel that, man. I feel that so much. I'm about to head out, but I'll be joining in a lot more, bro, on your lives.
Yeah, please do, buddy. Please do.
Nice, man. Have a good one, bro.
Have yeah, back at you, man. Thanks for coming up. All right. All right. Ooh, it filled up in here. So I actually didn't even mean I hit the button a little too like he popped up the second my thumb was going downward toward accept. But let's bring the next one up here. We got Christian Ray.
Hey, how's it, man?
Hey, what's up, buddy? When did I've talked to you before, haven't I?
Yeah, it was like a few days ago, and unfortunately, I had a Wi-Fi issue, so I had to dip. I was so bummed because I was like, we were actually having a cool conversation about morals.
Oh, okay. So you want to keep that rolling today? Is that what we're doing?
No, I mean we don't have to, but I do want to echo what the previous guy just said. I actually, in between our last conversation and today, I've hopped on a few times on your live, and yeah, like I think he's right. I think like I've been on a few other lives like that just went absolutely chaotic, and a lot of atheists they've got such a huge chip on their shoulder, so it doesn't actually matter what somebody says. It's just they just want to they just have such a big chip on their shoulders. But yeah, you handled this really well, so I just want to compliment you for that.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm not like I'm fully aware. I'm just as delusional and stupid and easily fooled as the next person.
As the rest of us,
I
bro.
can't say anything like that without making a hypocrite of myself. But like, as bad as some of these conversations probably sound from the other side, I've probably had them from that side myself. So I try to
Right,
take it
of
pretty
course,
easy on
yeah.
people, just because I understand the
Yeah,
way it makes
exactly.
you think too. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I can
So
only repeat myself so many stinking times before I have to move on. Like,
yeah, look, if someone's not listening, there's only so much you can do. So, but just
yeah, I
to
mean,
just
like
I
I
guess
can't.
as a like quick background again, I don't go to church anymore. I stopped going to church like 8 years ago. But I grew up in church. I've toured with Hillsong United and as a muso. And obviously the church, like everybody knows, whether you're a Christian or non-Christian, whether you want to admit it or not, the church is broken today. It's been broken for many, many years.
In this country, church attendance has been dropping for nearly 80 years now.
Yeah, it's just a big problem that a lot of people don't want to admit because it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. And if you, I mean, one of my best friends is a pastor, is a Hillsong pastor, and for many years he didn't want to admit that it's just a broken system. And the reason why is because his whole livelihood and his family's livelihood relied on the churches, on that income, right? Because he worked for the church, he was a pastor in the church. So for him to just
I
agree
mean,
with me, that would be that would be a little bit difficult for him.
yeah, I get it, but I mean, I know plenty of Christians that I think are 100% honest. Like they're all amazing people. Their church does amazing charity work. You know what I'm saying? But when God's chosen and has widespread, it's hard to trust who's who,
No,
whether they're actually doing
absolutely,
good or not. You know what I mean?
absolutely, yeah. I did
Because it
want to
looks
ask
really
though.
bad when you're the holy rollers and you're the one doing the corruption.
Well, exactly, 100%. I did want to ask though. So it seems like your whole position is based off just the Bible alone. Is that right?
My position, personally, you mean?
Yeah, the whole reason why you aren't a Christian anymore is based on the inherency of the Bible.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Right. So
an
if
atheist
we
for some bigger reasons, some more general reasons, but yeah, I'm not a Christian or Jewish because of the Bible. Yeah.
right. So well, Jewish aren't Christians anyway. But so if I remove the Bible out of the equation, so if we took away the Bible out of the equation, where would you stand?
I'd still be an atheist.
So is there nothing else, when you were a Christian, was there nothing else that made you believe in a creator aside from them teaching you about the Bible?
Nope.
Yeah, is that not a problematic thing? Have you like I don't know how much you thought about
It
that.
was for me. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like why did you allow that to be a thing? Like why didn't you say, okay, well, if we didn't have this Bible, how can a God as big as they claim it to be
I already
have its
rejected all the other
whole
gods. I got rid of the Bible. It wasn't easy to reject them all after that. I
yeah, I
just made
mean,
it one
well,
more God.
yeah, exactly. So if you
Yeah.
so how can a
You see what
God
I'm
be so
saying?
big
Like, I
and
only thought there was one God. The God got disproven. So 1 minus 1 is 0.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I only think there's one God as well. But my whole thing is not based on just the Bible alone. There's a lot of inheritance in the Bible. I come from the doctrine where you cannot say a single thing bad about the Bible. You can't judge a single syllable in the Bible as being as not making sense. You just
Well, if you
you know
found
you
out
just
that
gotta
the
take
Bible was
the bad
complete
stuff.
nonsense, would you still be a Christian?
Yes, and
You
actually,
don't see a
like
problem with that?
I see a problem that we've made this flawed this Bible, we've made this book or this library of books that people have have edited over years and years and centuries. I see that as being a problem as we've based God's whole identity in this Bible. That's what I see as
Well,
being
I'm
a problem.
saying like Christianity is this book. Without this book, there is no Christianity. I
No,
mean, you
without
can still
Jesus,
be
there's
a
no
Christian, but
Christianity.
you have no basis at all for it anymore.
No, but that's what I'm trying to get to. Without Jesus and his resurrection, there's no Christianity. Like
Yeah, I know.
the
That's what I'm
whole
saying. If this
term
Bible's wrong and
Christianity.
that part specifically is wrong, then there's no point in being a Christian because it's wrong.
Well, I'm saying to you, even if you take the Bible away, even if you've proven over and over and over if you've proved that every single line in the Bible was false, if you prove that to me, every single line in the Bible was false, I would still believe as much as I believe today, because the
In
Bible is written by
Christianity.
man. In Christianity, of course, the Bible
So
is
you're
written
saying I'm
by
so
human
set
beings.
on this doctrine, no matter how false it's proven to me that it is, I'm still going to believe it.
No, so what I'm saying is
It's kind of what
when
it
you say the
sounds like.
doctrine, you mean, well, I can clarify it. So when you say the doctrine, you mean the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And I'm
There's
saying,
nowhere else to get any of this from.
even if you've taken that away from me, even if you take that away, if you prove to me that everything in the Bible, literally every line, every book
Yeah.
is false, even if you prove that to me, I'll concede that, and I'll still be as much a believer today in Jesus, in his resurrection, as I am with the Bible.
Wow.
And the reason for that is because
That is
my
beyond
faith is
crazy to
not.
me, to be honest with you. I have no understanding how any human would ever think to that level.
But is that not the fundamental issue, you think? I think that's the fundamental issue. I think
I think it's an
everything you believe
issue.
in, I think every single thing you believe in, you base God's identity in the Bible. And I understand it, but I know that that's not how you're supposed
Where
to
else
live.
can I base it? Where
Well,
else does
before the
any of this
Bible,
information come from?
well, there are eyewitnesses. Like outside of the Bible.
Where are those
Outside of the Bible.
eyewitnesses?
Sorry?
Where?
What do you mean
Where is
where?
any of this story recorded outside of the Bible?
I was just about to say that. There's so much documentation
Yeah.
that
Where?
if you search, dude, like asking questions like that is kind of an impossibility, because you're expecting me to have
Why?
because you're
You're the one
expecting
who
me to have.
you're the one who said it's there.
Well, okay. Do you believe
Would you
that
accept
Abraham
it
Lincoln
if I said there's a whole lot of stuff that proves this wrong, and you said, "Well, what is it?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. You should look it
No,
up."
I wouldn't say what it is. I wouldn't say what is it. I would go out and try and find it. Or
Why
if you have it
not?
on you,
You should be
because
saying what
because
is
I
it.
no, because if you say to me there's documentation out there, right, that Abraham Lincoln was once a human being that lived on Earth, right? Then if you don't have it on you, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I don't have every piece of information
Yeah, but you have no
every
reason
piece of
to believe it.
documentation. Yeah,
So I
okay.
mean, like this is a
I don't
debate
think
thing,
you're
though.
understanding
If
what
you're
I'm
going to
saying.
come up here and say there's lots of other recordings of this, like I would expect you could show us one, or at least name it.
Okay, do you have evidence that Abraham Lincoln existed or
Yeah.
Hitler on
Oh,
you
I don't
right
believe
now?
in Abraham Lincoln or Schmittler.
You don't believe that they existed?
No, that was totally made up.
You don't. Okay. Do you believe that anyone in the past existed? That Shakespeare.
No,
You don't
no,
believe any of
no.
those people existed?
Can you show me?
Do
Can
you
you prove
believe?
that existed?
Well, that's the point, isn't it? So you need physical proof that someone that. Do you believe that any humans existed like 300 years ago?
No, we're all the first ones right now.
Bro, come on, dude. Like, I thought you're expecting me to be
I'm,
like
ju- I'm
serious.
just making a point. I'm just making a point, man. Like,
I don't know. I don't think you even feel that that's a legitimate point. I can see it all over your
no, I
face,
don't.
dude.
No, no, the point's legitimate, but what I'm saying is not.
Okay,
Yes, I believe in
say
Abraham Lincoln, but there's no way to.
okay.
There's
Well
actual,
then,
like, we have Abraham Lincoln's signatures. There's a picture of this dude. Like, I mean, he's written all over the world about anybody that knows to do with him. Like, I mean, all kind of stuff. Like, Jesus has
right. So
none
listen
of
to what
this.
right. So listen to what you're saying, bro. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ has the same type of information to make
Show
us
me.
believe that he
Show
existed.
us.
Okay, show me all the information that you just said out on Abraham Lincoln. Do you have it on you?
Yeah, I got it on a laptop right here.
That Abraham Lincoln existed?
All the evidence for him. Yeah, I can look up all kind of stuff about him.
Oh, exactly. That's my point. You can look up the same kind of information about Jesus.
He's like registered in registries as a a member of a population.
Yes.
Yeah, it's as good as
If
it
there
gets.
was a registration that existed,
So
then
where's
he
this
was
proof for
registered.
Jesus that you're talking about?
So do you understand that people do this for a living? Like they study they study ancient history and ancient texts, right?
Well, I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to you. You're the one making claims.
So does that mean that I have to know absolutely everything and have every piece of information on me
No,
to
I
make a
didn't
claim?
say that. But if you're making a
But
claim,
you're asking me
like
of it.
there's
Yeah.
all kind of stuff to prove Jesus, like I would expect you could name one or two. You know what I mean? Like I
All
don't
right. So
expect you to
okay.
pull out
Okay.
a
So
manual that
here's
you
what.
keep in your
No, but that's
armpit.
what you're asking me though. But you're asking me to do that.
Yeah,
You're saying where's this
because you said
evidence?
it. Yeah.
But then you're saying you're not asking me,
Can
and
you
then I say
name
you
an
are, and you say
extra
yes.
biblical source for that tells the tale of Jesus?
So let me just say this, right? When two people have a conversation, okay, when they have a debate, there has to be some sort of level of a foundational agreement, all right? Otherwise, it's just an infinite regression that you can just go back and back. Because as an atheist, right, I can just ask you, because you're an atheist, I can just say why to literally everything you say, and there's physically
Yeah,
nothing you
and
can
I
prove
can
to me.
show you why for everything I say.
No, you can't. That's the
Like
point.
when I
You
say
really
the Bible
can't.
says this, like I can go read it and show you. We can both look up the
No,
scripture and see
yeah,
it.
but I'm talking about your
Like
beliefs.
I've learned, like on a debate stage, you can't just come up and make claims. You have to have something to back it up, whether it be like a good argument, a source. You have to be able to show something that we can both see.
Okay, so as a scientist, if you were debating if you were debating me and the topic was science, right? Would I have to physically show you everything that people have been assuming for many years already regarding science?
In regard to what?
Regarding sun. Okay, so if we say water is made, if I say to you, dude, water is made up of different gases, H2O, that's the composition of water, right? Would I have to physically show you that? Or can we just agree that that's what it is? Because that's the assumption we've been living under.
You could name a source that I could look up real quick and see what you're talking about.
So
I
you
don't
so you
expect you
weren't
to
you're not
flash it
able
on the
to
screen,
accept.
but I would. You have to have some sort of justification for what you're saying, right?
Yeah, so okay, so you're saying
Like
that
some sort of
you're not
something,
able to
even if it's really
accept.
bad. Like if I say the God of the Bible is real, and you asked how I prove that, I would say, well, the Bible. Like at least
Yeah.
that makes
So
some
you're
kind
not
of sense, right?
right. No, I don't disagree, but
No,
what you're saying is you're saying that you're not willing to accept that
I'm
people
just saying, if
have
you're saying there are
documentation.
sources outside of the Bible that tell about Jesus's story like this, then what is it? Like you're the one who said it is.
Yeah, so you're not willing to accept that there are people that do this for a living that have been doing this for many years and have
I'm
documentation.
not
I'm just
talking to
asking if
them.
you're not willing. I know, I'm just asking you, dude. I'm saying, are you not willing to accept that those people exist, that documentation exists? Is that what you're
I
saying? You're
don't
just
think it
not able
does
to
unless you
accept
can
that.
show me. No, I've never heard of this documentation.
So do you not think that if you have a stance on something, especially if you're going into a debate, you're saying that I have a responsibility to show you stuff, right? But do you not
Yeah,
think,
same.
because this is
No,
not the
it's the
first
same for
time.
both of us. If I make if I claim something is true, I should be able to show you something. Like if I
Yeah, no, I
say this
agree.
verse says
Okay,
this,
that's
and you
fine.
say I
Yeah,
don't
if
believe
we're
you, we could just go read the verse, right?
Right, right. If
Yeah.
this debate was on a lame
This seems
platform
like
like
a big
TikTok,
discussion on how to get out of actually proving stuff you're saying.
yeah, I think we're getting into a territory of hostility, and I don't want it to get there, right? So
I'm not
I'm
being
just trying to
hostile. I'm
clarify
just
some stuff
saying,
with you.
like,
Yeah, but like keep cutting me off and making those comments are a little bit hostile. So
right, just because we're getting too off in the weeds here, we got to get to something that's actually debatable. But yeah, if you're gonna, I'm just saying, if you're gonna claim something like that, you're gonna have to show something for it. That's all I'm saying.
no, that's fine. But I mean, if we were planned, if this debate was planned, if I didn't just hop on and have a conversation, I would, if I had a claim, if I had a stance, I would have documentation to show you, right?
Well, that's
But
fine.
as
Like,
at
that's
the
cool,
same
man.
time,
Look, hey, wait,
at the same
hold on a
time,
second.
you
Like, just go get it,
have a
go get it,
stance.
bro. You got to stop talking. Just go get it and then come back.
Okay, but at the same time, you're expecting me to have all this documentation. Have you not once? I'm not the
That's
first one to
not
tell
what
you
I
about this,
said. I
right?
just said have something. Like, if you're making a
Yeah,
claim like that, you should be able to
let me
tell
just
me a
finish.
title of a book, a paper, something, something. I don't know
Let
what.
me. Okay, okay. I'll give you someone's name. Okay, his name is Wesley Huff.
I had a feeling you was going to say something like that.
Sorry, dude.
That's all right.
He's literally the main. He's literally the best source that
I
I can give
wish
you.
he would come up here and debate me, but
I don't think you'd want that, dude. If this is the kind
oh,
of
I do.
level that you're expecting of
I do.
information,
I'm not scared of Wes Huff.
I mean, if this is your standard of what you think proof is, that guy does this for a living, dude.
No,
Like
I
he's
would.
been
Yeah,
doing this for a
exactly.
living.
I would love for me a regular old dude, an undereducated hick with a middle school education to absolutely school this guy on biblical logic because I'm pretty sure I can do it.
On biblical logic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
how
I
much
know
have
the
you
actual
done?
context of the Old Testament. You can't hide from the context of the Old Testament. Neither can
Right,
Wes
but we're
Huff.
not talking. Okay, but you're the one that's bringing the Bible back into this, right? We were just talking about the
Yeah,
existence
no,
of
this is,
Jesus
yeah, I
Christ.
do Bible debates. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've moved on to the topic of Jesus Christ. I said to you, if
Well,
your
sure, but we're
stance on
going to,
not believing Jesus, if you base your lack of faith on God based on just the existence of the inerrancy of the Bible, then if we take
yeah.
that out, you should still be God didn't say go write the Bible. God never said that. He didn't tell people to go write a Bible, did he?
It says in the
We took
Bible
it upon
that this word
ourselves.
is God
We
breathed.
took it
So,
upon
yeah.
ourselves to start documenting correctly or inaccurately, however you want to say it. So that's fine with me. If you
Okay.
say, even if it was inaccurately, we took it upon ourselves to do it. He didn't
Okay.
need us to have a book like to believe in his creation.
Well,
In
he's
this, in
certainly not
his,
coming and explaining it himself, so he had to write it down somewhere.
no, dude, God didn't write the Bible.
Yeah. I know that, but it says every word of
Okay,
Scripture is God
so
breathed
I'm
in the
curious
Bible.
though. I'm curious though. What are you going to say to Wesley Huff? Because you're asking me to prove all the stuff. Like he's got all the proof.
The
So
same stuff.
What are
I
you
would
going to say
ask
to him?
him. I would ask him which one of these
You
topics he
would,
wants to debate me on here. Actually, if it was Wes Huff,
yeah,
I'd probably pick that one. And
the Bible. Yeah, no, that would be a good one to pick with him. All
heck,
right,
it would be a
dude.
good
Cool
one.
enough.
Send him up here if you
Yep.
know him, man. But look
I
up
really,
whatever you're
I
talking
really
about
don't.
and come back sometime, and we'll continue the talk.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming in,
Cheers.
buddy.
Have a good one. Thanks.
You
Cheers.
too, man. All right. All right. Got a freaking ton of people in the queue here. Before we picked up the next one, though, thank everybody for being here today and listen to a old hick from Alabama debate Christians in here. Whether you think I'm winning the debates or getting destroyed here, welcome in. Enjoy the show, whatever you think. All right. Y'all please keep tapping that screen. I appreciate the heck out of you. It'd be really cool if I could get to 900 followers today. Barely a week ago I was at 500, so I'm like, I say it every day now, but I'm blown away by how fast the channel is growing and how many people jumping up in here with me. All right, let's bring up the next one here. Let's see, who would it be? I guess Joseph. Yeah. Small town, yeah, I kind of got that too. That's funny, Jesse. That's funny. All right, we'll try the next one. I got to do it slow because I keep getting lagged on. Nope. Sorry about the awkward pauses here. I have to give it a second after I try to accept somebody because it lags the shit out of me. Well, can't tell what that is there. Maybe. Oh, finally got somebody here.
I don't think I meant to press it, but that's fine.
Oh, was it an accident, Autumn?
You're good. You're good.
Oh, I'll drop you back. Sorry about that.
No, you're.
Or I mean, well, I'm not sorry, but no worries, no worries. All right, we're going through them quick here. Guess you need 9 or 10 people waiting because you're only going to be able to bring one up. All right, let's go to Snoopy. You there?
Yes, hello.
Snoop Dogg, what up? You over 18?
Yes, I'm 35.
Cool. Are you a Christian?
Yes.
Cool. So, which one of these topics did the Lord send you to debate us on today?
I guess the fill-in prophecy.
Oh, good one. Cool. Yeah, so I say Jesus doesn't fulfill any of the prophecies the New Testament says he does. Like if you read the first 2 chapters of Matthew, he names 5 specifically and quotes the prophets. But if you actually just go read them, some of them's not even prophecies. Other ones aren't even there, or they're all taken out of context, basically.
Okay. Well, I don't see it that way at all. So elaborating on something specific, I would talk about the fact that they call him Emmanuel in 2025.
Who calls who Emmanuel?
They call him the everlasting Father. Christians.
They
Bible
call
believing.
Jesus Emmanuel?
Yes, every Christmas.
Oh, they call him that on Christmas?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Have you ever...
Yes, sir.
So have you ever, you know where that prophecy is from in the Old Testament?
Where they call him the everlasting Father?
No, where they call him Emmanuel.
Oh, you mean Isaiah 7:14?
Yeah.
And Isaiah 8?
Well, yeah, the soldiers cry out Emmanuel.
They're calling on him?
But yeah, so you've read Isaiah chapter 7, right?
Yes, and El, Emmanuel, El is God, and Emmanuel is with us. So El means God, and so that's his name.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
That's what the name means. So
Jesus.
can you tell me what Isaiah chapter 7 is about contextually?
A promise to King Assur
A promise to what?
for a sign. Sorry,
You know what the sign is?
that the woman was going to conceive a child, and before he was grown, that his enemies would be put under him.
Right. Well, the 2 kings from Assyria who's attacking Ahaz are going to have their lands deserted, right?
Okay.
That's all it says.
Yes, and then they apply that to Jesus in the Coney Greek. So the Greeks who are the ones where we get this text from, because it's not the Hebrews, but they took what they knew from the Old Testament apparently, and when they applied that to Christ, they were the ones interpreting that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is contextually, this doesn't have anything to do with Christ or Messiah or anything of the sort. The child called Emmanuel is just a timeline for when the kings of Assyria are going to fall.
Okay. Well, as far as being a Christian, what we believe is that the Old Testament, God was always talking about and to his son, and the humans, us creations in between, took some of those things upon themselves, which is where they failed the Lord in the Old Testament. So that's the teaching of the Old Testament, is that humans are taking that upon themselves. Because
Well, sure, but I don't think that's explaining the context, though. Like Isaiah chapter 7 is a prophecy about the Assyrian invasion. This don't have anything to do with the coming Messiah.
Yes, it depends. If you're a Christian, then we're anticipating, so we're looking at that same text and
What are you
seeing where the Lord
anticipating
is
though? When
applying that
Assyria is
to
going to
his
fall?
son. The Lord Yahweh. Oh, you mean Joshua? We were
No, I'm
looking for
talking about
Joshua in
Isaiah
the Old
chapter
Testament.
7.
Okay, so
No,
the
I'm still
child
talking about Isaiah.
conceived. Yes, the child conceived called Emmanuel. You don't call a human being God, right?
Yeah, well, these are just prophetic names. It's probably
No, you said
Isaiah's
it's.
son.
That's what I'm saying. But when they call him Emmanuel, it's God. So the Hebrews knew that this name it has God in it. So when they cry out that when those individuals are crying out Emmanuel, they're crying out to their God. It's not like Emmanuel is what they were interpreting.
Right. I'm
Because
saying
God's in that name. Yeah.
contextually, though, this is about the Assyrian invasion. This don't have anything to do with coming messiahs. So why is the New
Oh,
Testament saying
okay.
this is
I'm
about a
sorry.
messiah is what I'm asking.
So what Isaiah is further down the road than Abraham. And from the Abrahamic faith, when he was with his father, before he came to the monotheism belief, they were worshiping El, right?
Wait, what? Who's worshiping him?
Okay. Let me try. Let's see. So we're talking about Emmanuel.
Well,
And
I'm
in
trying
Hebrew,
to figure out
El
how
is
the
Sethel.
context of a story that's about the Assyrian invasion and a sign to King Ahaz has anything to do with Jesus 750 years after the
Sure.
fact, when contextually this don't have anything to do with coming messiahs or nothing of the sort.
Because you're trying to look at Jesus in the future, and then
It
you're
is in the
using
future.
Isaiah. Well, compared to Isaiah, right? Because that was a prophecy, is what we're
Yeah,
trying
but
to.
it was
What
a
I'm trying to
prophecy
say.
to King Ahaz about when he'll
Oh yeah,
be
I get
saved
that.
from the kings of
Yes, you keep
Assyria.
saying that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I'm asking you is, where did they get the name Emmanuel from? Well, let's go back to where that was being talked
It's
about
just a
before
prophetic
then.
name. The name's not important.
I get that you say
What's
it's just
important is the
prophetic. You said
context
that
of the
already.
story. Yeah.
Yes, and
But
the context of the story, we could
is what's
stay.
important to
Yes.
me.
So for the context sake, we can stick to what you said. I thought you were asking about my Christian perspective as to where Emmanuel came from and how that's the Lord.
No.
So
I'm
I'm not
trying to
yeah.
make sense of contextually of the story, how
Yes.
it has
So
anything to do with Jesus or the Messiah.
okay. So the Coney Greeks, when they were speaking of this child to be born, right? Because the Coney Greek is what they're writing about Jesus in their native language. So the individuals, the Greeks, wrote about Jesus. And when they saw Jesus, they saw him as the Messiah. That's why the Jews reject Jesus. So in that time, it wasn't really the Jews calling Jesus the Messiah. It was just disciples who were of Jewish heritage. But really, the Greeks are the ones who said, "Sir, we would see Jesus." And they went to Jesus and told him, and Jesus said, "Now my hour has come. They're seeking me." Right? So when he leaves, where do we get the New Testament from? I mean, you're trying to debate New Testament Coney Greek and argue it against Hebrew, and I'm trying to explain that for you. They said, "Oh, this is that son." That's why it's being put in Matthew, because who wrote it? The Greeks saw that, oh, this is the prophecy. So I'm telling you who saw that prophecy. You're trying to say, no, focus on Hebrew. Well, okay, fine, we could stay in that, and yeah, everything you're saying is true, and
It's
there's
a
history.
Hebrew script, yeah.
But the Coney Greeks translated that into their language.
Well,
they
then
had
they're
the scriptures,
but
and then when
wrote
they
the
read
New
that,
Testament, I agree, they're going off a bad translation though, instead of just reading
well,
the Hebrew.
that's your interpretation. I said it's true because Christians in 2025 call him the everlasting Father. That's in the Old Testament. So in the Old Testament, it talks about a son to be, and they call him the everlasting Father. And then what did the Jews say? That's blasphemy. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. If they call him
because
El,
they
and
knew what
that's
that
God.
was actually talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. When they say Emmanuel and you're like, that's not Jesus. Well, that is God. That's what they're referring to. And who said that? The Coney Greeks. They're the ones who are applying that because the Jews reject that truth that you're trying to argue. The Coney Greeks accepted it.
There is
The
no
Jews
truth
don't
here,
believe
is what
that.
I'm trying to show you.
Yeah. So you stand on the Judaism belief then. That's exactly what they say too. But we
I'm
don't believe
reading
that.
the story, and the context of the story don't have anything at all to do with a Messiah.
Yes,
The
but
New
I'm trying
Testament
to tell
has
you as a
completely
Christian.
made that up.
So for instance, right? When God told Moses to put the snake on the cross and those who would be bit would live, like that has nothing to do with Jesus either, or it does? The snake on the cross, the blood that we can live through our, you know what I'm saying?
Is
So it's like,
Jesus a
were they
snake?
doing, did they hear what God said and then they tried to like replicate these things in real life? I mean, when Jesus was going to be born, they went to go kill him. There goes this
Yeah, okay,
Egypt
okay,
all over
okay. I
again.
don't. Hold on a
Yeah, the
second. Hold on a
firstborn's
second. Hold on a
dying.
second. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hold on. Stop. Just please stop talking for a second.
Yeah, sure.
I'm trying to figure out how to say this where I don't feel like you've actually addressed what I've said yet, or what I've asked you.
Okay.
Contextually,
Mhm.
this story has nothing to do with Jesus or a Messiah.
If I believe
Right.
in if I don't believe in Jesus, then I would say what you're saying. That's what I'm trying to get across to you.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. What I'm trying to ask you is, this story don't have anything to do with coming messiahs or nothing. Emmanuel is simply a timeline for King Ahaz. It's a prophecy
Then
to
why did
Ahaz. So how
Sure.
do you come along 750 years later and say this is messianic
Sure.
about a guy named Jesus when it has
So-
nothing at all to do with the actual context?
Mhm. Because all throughout Isaiah, it's clear God is talking to. So, for instance, when he talks to Ezekiel, right, and he's telling him to eat dung bread that was cooked with dung feces, human feces, and he tells him he doesn't want to do that. But the entire time, he's telling him to do these things to pass a judgment, and he calls him the Son of Man. He called him the Son of Man and told him, "Go and do these things to pass judgment." And then Jesus comes, and who do they call him? The Coney Greeks, after they find out about Jesus, write about him, right? So the disciples didn't write about him. John wrote about him in Coney Greek. The Coney Greeks took
I
all this
still don't
information,
feel
they
like you're
translated it
explaining
into the
this.
scriptures. Yes.
I still
Maybe
don't feel
it's
like you're explaining
going
this.
too much. Okay, so when the Coney Greeks read that Old Testament, they applied it to the coming Messiah, this Christ. So they gave him the title Emmanuel. They're calling
Right.
him
So why did they
God
do
with
that
us.
if it's completely divorced from the context of the actual story in Isaiah?
Because in the whole book of Isaiah, you hear the Lord talking to the Son of Man, just like in Ezekiel. And then Jesus comes and makes these
I don't
same
think
claims
so.
that they're saying he's claiming blasphemy.
The last,
Okay, well,
the
you'd have
last
to
big
read
part
John.
of Isaiah is about the Babylonian
Mhm.
captivity.
Yes, and all this was talked to Isaiah, and they're applying it to Jesus. Mhm.
I know, but they're applying
And-
it to Jesus
yes.
completely divorced from the context. That's my problem here. Hold on a second.
Yes, because you don't see. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay,
I can still hear you.
let's see.
I'll try one more time here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Kill these dogs. All right, I'm going to try one more time. The context of this story has nothing to do with messiahs. Why should I accept that the New Testament made it about a Messiah when we can just sit here and read it and I know that it don't have anything to do with a Messiah?
Well, I'm not trying to convert you, but I'm just telling you the text speaks of two things. If you believe it's just contextual history, I can't really point out the Savior in there.
Yeah, there is no Savior in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a prophecy to Ahaz about the Assyrian invasion. That's why. That's my problem.
What
with
does he
it, is
mean when
that,
he said a sign then? Right? The Lord himself shall
it's
give
a
you a
sign
sign.
for Ahaz.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's to
Yes,
Ahaz.
and how-
He's saying you're going to be
Mhm.
safe because he's afraid they're going to be conquered. That's what it says in the top part.
So when he says, "Behold, the virgin shall conceive," that's normal to you to have happened in Isaiah's time frame. That didn't happen then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
in
she
the
wasn't a
next
virgin
chapter,
when
there's
she
another
gave
one.
birth. That's what I'm saying. She's
It
not a
doesn't say
virgin though.
virgin
She's a
Hebrew,
young
does it?
woman. Well, actually, the
Yeah,
Hebrew
yeah,
word
exactly.
means
So it's
virgin.
not even a
It
prophecy
does.
about a virgin.
The Hebrew term halen means virgin. Helle.
The word used here in Hebrew is alma. That just means like a young woman or unmarried maiden.
It also means virgin.
No, it don't.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Isaiah uses the word virgin, and he uses betula, the word for virgin. So I get the feeling if Isaiah would have meant virgin here, he would have said the word for virgin, which he uses in other places like chapter 47.
So betua and alma mean virgin, sir. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No,
They
they
both
don't.
mean virgin.
They don't.
Well, I'm trying to tell you they do.
Show me,
Well, that's your
show me
perspective.
any definition in Hebrew that says alma means virgin.
How do I do that on TikTok? Google it. It says it right here. I'm reading it. The classic Hebrew words for virgin are betua and alma. While betua more
No,
directly
alma in
means
Hebrew
virgin,
just
alma
means a young
refers to a
woman.
young woman or a maiden or a marriageable age who was
There
culturally
you go.
assumed to be a virgin. So if we're talking about assumptions,
Yeah, but
this is why
that's
you
not
can't understand,
virgin.
because you're
When
trying to
they
be
when they
specific and say
mean
that
virgin,
your
they say
definition
virgin.
doesn't mean. Yes, so you don't take it as that. That's basically what you're saying, but you're not even
It doesn't
Hebrew.
even
I'm
matter if
trying
it
to
says
like
virgin
tell
because
somebody
this
it's not
don't have
Hebrew.
anything to do with the
Well, it doesn't
Messiah.
matter to you, but we were looking for this promise of a virgin.
It
That's the
does matter to
difference.
me. Like
It
I
matters
would
to me too, and
expect
Christians.
if it doesn't matter because you're
Well,
willing
that's why
to
they use alma
leave the
in
actual
the New
context to
Testament.
make it about Jesus.
Well, that's why they use alma in the New Testament.
I'm the one who cares about the context here. If Matthew was
So
actually
look at
quoting a
Matthew.
messianic prophecy, I would like to
Yes,
go read it
look
and
at
see that
Matthew.
it's an actual messianic prophecy.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. In the Coney Greek,
And
they
this is not.
used the word alma to describe the Virgin Mary. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Coney Greeks
Yeah, and they couldn't
applied that
even read
same
it
alma to
properly. That's
Mary.
why they got mistranslations.
Well, if you believe they couldn't read it properly, then that's why you don't believe the Bible, sir.
I don't believe the Bible because it says a bunch of things that's not true, like these failed prophecies, and it's clear that Matthew is making up prophecies in the Old Testament and trying to make them about Jesus when they're clearly not.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
I can show you.
Other than that, okay, like what? For instance,
All right, here. I'll tell you what. We'll skip to the Matthew chapter 22 here. This is my favorite one.
Matthew.
So, or Matthew chapter 2, I'm sorry. It says, "But when he had
Yes,
heard
sir.
that Archelaus was ruling in Judea in the place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go up there. And after being warned in a dream, he went away to the district of Galilee. There he made his home in a town called Nazareth, so that what had been spoken through the prophets might be fulfilled. He will be called a Nazarene." So Matthew is quoting prophets here, saying he will be called a Nazarene. He's quoting a prophecy, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So where's that prophecy that he's quoting at?
That he will be a Nazarene. It's all based on where he's born, right? Bethlehem. So
Okay,
the Lord
so
is
where's
leading
their
him to.
prophecy
Yes, sir.
that where's this prophecy that Matthew is quoting in the Old Testament?
Sure. One moment.
Yeah, where's there any prophecy about somebody being called a Nazarene? Did you find it yet?
Yes, it says the branch interpretation. The word Nazarene or Nazarios could be a play on Hebrew word netzer, meaning branch or shoot, as seen in Isaiah 11:1. Oh, that's where you were at. Okay. Yeah, so I guess you're onto stuff in Isaiah. It says the interpretation connects Jesus to the prophecy of a branch from the line of Jesus who would come to rule.
It doesn't. Matthew, they couldn't read Hebrew, and there's no prophecy anywhere in the Bible about being called a Nazarene. And that has nothing
It says
to do
another
with
view. It says another view is that Matthew is summarizing multiple prophetic passages that foretold the Messiah would be despised, humble, and from a poor or obscure village such
This
as
is about
Nazareth.
being from Nazareth. Yeah. And there's no prophecy in the Old Testament about that.
Yeah, it says the interpretation is supported by
Isaiah
the fact
11
that
is not about
Nazarene was.
anybody being from
I'm sorry.
Nazareth.
Go ahead. Okay.
So I'm saying
I hear
Isaiah
you.
11 has nothing to do with somebody coming from Nazareth.
Well, I haven't read it, but I'll go back to it in a second for you. This interpretation is supported by the fact that Nazarene was considered a slur or a derogatory term in Jesus' time. Prophetic passages that speak of the Messiah being rejected or despised include Psalm 22, Isaiah 53. Oh, Isaiah 53. Yes, that's where it's speaking of the Christ. But anyways, you said Isaiah 11?
Yeah, we can get to that one too, but
Sure. So
sure.
it says, and there shall
So
come.
there's no
Oh yeah.
prophecy
So
in
here's
the
the
Old
here's the
Testament
Christ.
about anybody
And there
being
shall
called
come
a
forth.
Nazarene.
Yeah. So right here it says, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse. So the rod is Christ, because that's what is in the Father's right hand, right? A rod,
No.
because that's what's depicted of the Father.
Isaiah 11 is
Oh,
not about
you didn't know that?
Jesus.
No, the Father.
Isaiah 11 is not about
God.
Jesus.
Remember, I told you they were going to call him the everlasting. I said Emmanuel. So I started the whole thing with God. I'm trying to show you where he is in the Old Testament.
That's
And
in Isaiah
11. So it's
chapter
all
9,
Isaiah.
Lord.
Again, I'm a Christian, so I apply the
Nope,
whole
11
scripture.
is a different
And-
one.
No. Well, not for you. I see that.
Yeah.
So he says, and out
I
of
know
the
what they're
stem of
both
Jesse
about.
and a branch shall grow out of his roots, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, and the Spirit of wisdom. And so that's why they took, obviously, from the Virgin. They're applying all these from different chapters. You do see that, right? Because they applied this to
Yeah,
it too.
I know. They were
You're
cherry
starting
picking
with just
sentences
one.
from Isaiah and try to make them
Who was
about
cherry
Jesus
picking?
is what they were doing.
Are you saying
The
Matthew
New
was?
Testament. The New Testament. That's what they were doing in the
Oh,
Dead Sea Scrolls. It's a technique called Pesher. They were literally going back and reinterpreting stuff that sounded like Jesus.
but it didn't. But who told us these things, right? Because these things came from. Who do you
They
believe it came
did.
from?
They went
Matthew?
back in the Old Testament and they said, well, this line kind of sounds like it could be Jesus, so let's make it about Jesus. That's literally what
Okay,
they're
so
doing the whole
so
time.
from your
But you can
interpretation,
see
you
that
think
if
that
you
this is
actually read,
yeah. So you think this is a group of individuals that were running around elaborately trying to make a demigod?
yeah, they were coping. Yeah, it's a cope.
Okay, well I have to understand. So you know where I'm coming from, but I don't even understand where you're coming from. So I'm trying to talk, but like I
know.
didn't see that you saw it like that. So if maybe you could give a little understanding about that right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Literally every one of these prophecies that Matthew is saying Jesus has fulfilled is contextually completely divorced from what's actually going on in the Old Testament.
Okay. Does
Some
John
of them aren't
believe
even prophecy.
Matthew?
This one's not even in there. Other ones aren't even
Does John
prophecies.
believe? Do you think Mark or Luke believe Matthew?
Matthew and Luke both copied from Mark and added their own elements, and both of the stuff that they added individually are different from each other.
So that's what I'm saying. If they added things individually that are different, and the disciples did split over arguments on Christ, so they had different, whatever theologies. Basically, what I'm trying to get to you is how do
That's
you
crazy.
think that they all came together and were fighting each other at the same time in disagreements? But you're
It
saying that
depends.
they
Like
did this perfectly.
according to the Gospels, the disciples were all complete idiots. Like if you read Mark by itself, they never understand Jesus's message. He spends the entire gospel chastising them for not getting it. In fact, right up when Jesus is taken prisoner in Mark, they split and they're gone. That's the end of the story. It never says anything else about them. So they never even understood Jesus's message.
Yeah, so not a lot of them did. And you're arguing with me about Matthew, but I'm trying
None
to tell
of
you
them
they're
did in
calling
Mark.
him that. So the fact that
Yeah, I
2025
know. They're
human
reading a
individuals call
sentence or
him the
two in the
everlasting
Old
Father
Testament and applying
because
it to
Tony
Jesus
Greek
dishonestly
wrote
because the
that
actual context
he
doesn't
is
have
the
anything
everlasting
to do
Father.
with it.
And then if the Old Testament said that this day was coming and it's happening right before your eyes, but you still don't believe that they're calling him the everlasting Father because they believe in the Coney Greek transcription,
Because I
because they're
know what
taking
that's
things out
actually
of it.
about, and it's not about Jesus. Isaiah chapter 9 is about
Okay.
Hezekiah. That's literally what
So
Hezekiah means. That's what the name means.
from
It
my
means
understanding
mighty
is that
God
you
or the
think
strength
Jesus
of God.
was
That
only
means might.
so you think
Are
Jesus
you
was only
listening to
here in
me?
2025? Well, yeah, I'm trying to get that. I think you're talking about the man, right? Not like Jesus in the Old Testament.
I'm talking about the prophecies about him. Like you
Well, he
keep
was
saying
already
chapter
here, first
9,
of
it
all.
says he's this, but those are just names. That's all they are. They have nothing to do with Jesus.
Yeah, but what makes it powerful is that people are calling him that in this day and age, and that it
You
went
can
out to the
call him
world.
you can call him
But who
Isaiah.
is
It doesn't
he,
make
right?
him Isaiah.
But who is he? He
This is
said that he
people
was
way
here. So I'm
after
a
the
Christian,
fact
so
who
he
are
was here
reading this
before
stuff. That's
he was
why it
born.
makes no difference what
Do
you're
you
calling
understand?
him.
But he was here before he was born. Do you understand? So it's not like this is somebody who came like you
No, I
believe.
don't understand.
This is
That
somebody who
makes
was
no
here.
sense.
Absolutely. So Jesus means Joshua,
Yeah, and he
right?
didn't
It's
write
the
anything
same thing.
himself. What
But what
we
does
are reading
Joshua mean?
anonymous,
And how come they don't call
handed
him
down
Joshua?
accounts.
The reason they don't
What?
call him Joshua, they call him Jesus, was to differentiate between Joshua
Look,
the
I'm not even
prophet
sure what
and
we're
Jesus
talking
the
about.
Messiah.
We're gonna have to address something specific here.
Oh, his name, Jesus. You keep talking
Okay,
about
his
this
name.
man, but I'm
Here,
trying to
hold
tell
on.
you he
Okay,
was here
stop.
in
All
Old
right,
Testament.
all right. Okay, hold on, just a second. You keep bringing up Isaiah 9, right?
Because he's Emmanuel. Jesus is Emmanuel, right? That's what I'm telling you people
No,
say in 2025.
listen.
Well,
Jesus
you're saying he's
cannot
not.
be the
I'm
child.
telling you he is.
Please stop talking for a second. I'm saying Jesus can't be Emmanuel and a different child from chapter 9. You are literally saying he's both of these childs. That makes no sense. He
That's
is
what.
neither.
Yeah, because they're calling him that, so they're not lying. The
You
New
can
Testament
call him
declared
whatever
this.
you want. It doesn't make it
Well, yeah.
about him. That's what I'm trying to
No,
tell
but it
you.
makes me.
These are
But it makes
prophetic
me.
names in Isaiah.
Okay.
All of Isaiah's children had prophetic names. In chapter 9, the title of the chapter is The Righteous Reign of the Coming King. It's Isaiah's son. Oh, wait.
And
that's
that makes me.
uh,
That makes me a Christian.
Isaiah's
That I
son.
stand on the Coney Greek and call him Emmanuel and Jesus. I
I
call him
know.
Emmanuel and
If you
Jesus
could
because the
actually
Coney
stand on
Greek
the
told me
context,
this.
that would be great. But you can't
Amen.
stand on the
I stand on the
context to be
Coney
a
Greek.
Christian. So.
Well, the Coney Greeks are the only one
Yeah, I
who
know.
wrote the New Testament.
Yeah, that's
Why would I
because y'all
go
don't
anywhere
actually
else?
care about the context.
Well, because
Because
they
you don't care about the
translated it
context.
for us. Well, because I read the Old Testament in Coney Greek.
And they
They're
did
the
it
ones who
wrong.
translated it. Well, they have the
And they
Old and
did it
New
wrong.
Testament. The Jews don't have the New Testament.
And they
So
couldn't
if the
even
Coney
read
Greek has
Hebrew.
the Old and New Testament, and then they don't disagree with each other because they're in
They
both,
do disagree with
I
each
do
other
believe it.
immensely. That's what I'm trying to tell you, and that's what I
And I'm
debate
trying to show
here
you
every
where it's
day.
at in the Old Testament and New. It's right there written, and they used it on Jesus, so he is Emmanuel. Because they used it on Jesus and
I
20
know,
later.
but
And
he's not
yeah,
Emmanuel.
that's what
You
you're trying to
just
say.
calling
I
him
believe
Emmanuel
this
doesn't make him
because
Emmanuel. People
no,
have
I'm
been
not. I'm
calling him
calling
that
him
for
that.
a while.
I'm
Actually,
not
nobody
though.
calls him that.
But
They
I'm
call
trying
him
to show you.
Jesus.
I call him
But
that.
you're saying
I'm
he's
calling
the
him that.
child from 7. He's the child from 9. He's the child from 11. You're saying he's all these kids, has all these names.
Because
That
that's
makes
what
no
Coney
sense at
Greek
all.
told me. Because that's what the Coney Greek
That
told
just goes
me.
to show you don't know what you're talking about because they
Well, that's the
are
only place I can
different.
find Jesus. I can't find Jesus in
I
anywhere
know.
else.
You should actually look in like reality.
I did, and it turns out it's Joshua.
You
You'd have to
didn't. You
accept that
looked
it's
in Koine
Joshua.
Greek. This is what you want to think about it. Like that's what I'm
Well,
trying to
you
tell you.
can't
Like
find
they didn't
if you
know what
can't
they were
find
talking
Jesus.
about.
So if you can't find Jesus in out there, right? Except for somebody who's interpreting that name because they're Greeks. And then they're like, I'm going to tell the world about Jesus and write a book, and it's all going to be in Greek. And then you read it and say, nah, you're talking about the Hebrews, though. You don't know nothing. Well, I'm just telling you I'm a Christian. I just believe what they wrote about him. That's what makes me a Christian. And
And
it shows
listen,
it right
I
here. I'm
understand
showing
that.
you.
I understand that. I get it. What
Okay.
I am telling you is each
Yes.
one of these prophecies that you're talking about in the New Testament, when we actually go read them, there's immense problems with what the New Testament is saying about these prophecies because we can just go read them and they don't have anything to do with what the New Testament says they do.
But when you read it, right,
Even
and you
in
saw
the
that it
Bible,
said
even in their
Jesus.
own translations.
But when you read it and you saw that Matthew spoke of the same Emmanuel and then said it's tying it to Jesus because that's why he's putting it around
It
there,
just
right, in the
goes to show
context.
you that Matthew don't know what Emmanuel is. He's just cherry picking
But
sentences. Emmanuel
well,
is
it made it
nothing
very
but a
clear that
timeline
Emmanuel
for
means
King
God with
Ahaz.
us.
That prophecy comes
But it does
true
make
in
it clear.
chapter 8.
hmm So then,
It's
why
already
when they
done.
said in
It don't have
Matthew,
anything to
but
do
what?
with the Messiah coming.
Yeah, but you're not explaining my question. Why in Matthew did they tell him when you call him Jesus, he will be called Emmanuel, God with us? So they're
Because
tying
they
it
were
together,
trying to
saying
make
call
it
him
about
Jesus and
Jesus.
Emmanuel.
That's what I'm saying. Matthew is trying to make these
Well,
about Jesus,
if
but
they're trying to make
contextually
it
they have
about
nothing to
Jesus,
do with Jesus.
but Jesus means the Lord saves. So if they're trying to make it about the
That's
Lord, why are you saying it has nothing to do with the Lord? It does have to do with the Lord. The Lord's the only one who can save.
it
Silly.
doesn't. It
The
doesn't.
Lord's the only one who can save. Well, the
Emmanuel is
Lord
a
is in the Old
timeline for
Testament.
King Ahaz.
So then why in the Old
Emmanuel
Testament
is
does it
not a
keep saying the
Messiah.
Lord
Hey,
saves?
listen, this is what it should
Yeah.
say if Matthew's right. We should be able to go to Isaiah chapter 7, and it should say something like, a virgin will give
Oh,
birth to a
again,
Messiah,
it
and he
did.
will come and rule.
Yeah.
That's not what it says.
Oh, well, you're saying
We
Messiah. It's
no.
talking about a virgin. That's the key thing here. In Hebrew, that
No,
word
are
there,
you
Allah.
listening? I'm telling you what it should have said, not what it actually says.
Well, you're trying to put the word Messiah in there, and so that's a misinterpretation because
No,
that's not what it says.
Matthew's trying. You're trying to put the word Messiah in there. I'm trying to get you to take it out
No,
because it
Isaiah.
don't have nothing to do with a Messiah.
Well, yeah, it has to do with a virgin. Alma.
It don't even have
Alma
nothing to
means
do with that.
both
But even
two
if it
things.
did, this child that it's talking
Yes, sir.
about, called Emmanuel, is only a sign for King Ahaz and Judah being saved from Assyria. It don't have anything to do with a Messiah. God
Well,
visited
Emmanuel means
Judah
God.
during
That's
the
what I'm trying to
Assyrian
say.
invasion. That's what Emmanuel
Yeah,
means.
but they didn't name him
It says it
Emmanuel.
twice.
That
They
child.
cry out in chapter 8. They cry out Emmanuel. That's the whole point of this.
Yes, they cry out Emmanuel, and before that he said a child would be born. Called Emmanuel, but the child born is not then. That's what I'm saying. There's no child born that's called Emmanuel. That's prophecy because it happens later. We call Jesus that. At the time, a child is born, but he's not called Emmanuel. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because that would be blasphemy because you're
This
calling that
child
child
was
God.
called Emmanuel. They named this kid Emmanuel.
Yes, that's referred to Jesus.
It's just a name. These names have meanings. Like in chapter 9, it says he will be named Mighty God. This is what the name is going to mean. That is what the name Hezekiah means. The prefix it uses are God's strength or mighty God or something like that. But
Yes,
it's just a name.
Mhm. But what you're missing is that L, the two A-E-L means God. So if you just look at any of those words, like the one you just referenced, when it says L, that means God. So the rest of everything you just said, like
No.
yes, that's something else. Yeah. So well, that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Hezekiah
When they say
means
Jesus
mighty
is God, so why do you think they call Jesus God?
Hezekiah.
Jesus is God. Yes, the only reason they call
Jesus
Jesus
is
is
not
God because
God.
of Matthew. Well, Matthew says it is. Jesus is
Yeshua
L.
was his name, and that has a different meaning. It was a very common name.
Yeshua. You mean Joshua. See, Yeshua means Joshua, and that means the Lord.
And what does Joshua
Stop
mean?
there. Yah means the Lord.
Yah,
so stop
that's
there.
also a
Yah,
prefix in Hezekiah, isn't it?
that's what I'm saying, the Lord.
So different
that's
names
something
are
else.
all using this. It doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
You're trying to make it
But they
divine or something when it's just names with
That's what
certain
I'm.
meanings.
You said it doesn't mean anything, but back then, that's what I was telling you. Abraham worshipped his father worshipped these gods. These were the Canaanite gods, El Shaddai, Elohim. So when they say these names, you're like, what are just names? Yes.
Was Jesus'
So
name
there it is.
Hezekiah?
So what
Hezekiah
I'm asking you is, why are they? Sure. Do you see how they're God's talking to
Sure.
his son, and they put it on these humans? Okay, so that's what God said was wrong since the beginning. You guys hear, and then you apply it to yourselves. This is about his righteous son to come, right? The Old Testament talks about just Jesus, but we're applying it to ourselves. So when you say, look, they're calling Hezekiah, yeah, you're right. They took the name and they're applying it to prophets, but that's why we separated Jesus. We didn't want to say Joshua
Isaiah chapter 9,
that's what they
when
did.
it says this child will be named Mighty God, and they named him Hezekiah, that makes it about Hezekiah, not about Jesus.
Yeah, and now we're
That's my
talking
whole
about
point.
Hezekiah, and God. The Bible says God uses everything for our good. So even though they were blaspheming,
is
like
about
God used it.
Hezekiah, not Jesus. It can't be about Hezekiah and Jesus when it's about Hezekiah.
You say that. Yeah, well, that's because you're interpreting it like that.
I know that. I'm the one who actually cares about the context here. You're trying to make everything about
yeah,
Jesus
I read these words.
regardless of the context.
So tell me, if Alma means two things, and in the Old Testament, I'm not denying that the context meant a young woman, right? So I'm not denying you, and I read the context,
Yeah,
and
so
Alma
why
means
would you
two
say
things,
it's
and then they
virgin?
wanted. Because Matthew's saying it's a virgin. That's what I'm saying. These people have translated it to virgin.
Yeah,
so they're
because
using
Matthew is lying.
Yes, and that's where we end. I'm just believing this Coney
Yeah,
Greek text.
thank
That's
you.
why I'm a Christian. Yes, I'm okay with all this. Anyways, but that's why you just don't believe it, and
Yeah,
I'm not
I
trying to
know.
convince you. I told you I'm not trying to convert you, but I do believe context, so I'm reading it with you.
Well, sure, we're debating it, yeah. But no, you don't seem to care at all about the context, or you would understand straight away that the context has nothing to do with the coming Messiah or Jesus. So when Matthew says
But then
he
okay.
don't know what he's talking about.
So why then, when I type in King Azur, was there a child named Emmanuel? It says yes. The Bible mentions a child named Emmanuel as a sign for King Ahaz during a time of conflict with Israel and Syria. According to the book of Isaiah, a
Yeah.
virgin would give birth to a son, and his name would be Emmanuel, meaning God with us.
And what
God
does
is
it
with
say
us.
Emmanuel's going to do?
Purpose of the sign. Emmanuel's birth was a sign to
Exactly.
King
That's the
Ahaz
purpose
that
for
God would
Emmanuel,
be
not to
with
be a
Judah
Messiah.
and
It's
provide
telling
for
you the
them.
purpose of this child. It's a timeline for
Even
King
as
Ahaz. That's it.
even as he was being threatened by the northern
Right.
kings,
Now we're getting
dual
there, aren't we?
fulfillment. Dual fulfillment.
No.
Yes, we
There
are
it
getting
is.
there. No,
At
well,
least you
let me just
finally
finish.
said it after all this time.
Yes.
Goodness
While this
gracious.
prophecy,
Yeah.
yes, because I
There's
love
no
you.
such thing as dual
While this
fulfillment because it
prophecy
don't have
had,
anything contextually to do with the actual prophecy.
yes, I get your beliefs now. While this prophecy had an immediate
Yeah, I get
fulfillment
yours
in the
too.
time of King Isaiah and King Ahaz, it is also seen as pointing to
And then
a
it has
future,
another one
greater
800 years in the
fulfillment
future
in
that
the
have
birth
nothing
of
to do
Jesus
with actual
Christ as
prophecy, right?
described in the New Testament. Emmanuel, in the context of King Ahaz, the immediate sign was for the specific crisis King Ahaz was facing. The child would mature and eat curds and honey until he was old enough to know the difference between right and
Yeah.
wrong. And
Yeah,
by that
we
time, the
know what
enemies
it
of Judah
says.
would be defeated.
Sir, we got to have an actual conversation here.
It says a sign, not a specific child's name. The name Emmanuel might have been a symbolic.
All right.
So that's what I'm saying. It didn't happen then, right?
All right. We appreciate you coming up, buddy, but I don't feel like we're tracking here anymore. So appreciate you coming up and being cordial, but we're going to move on to somebody who can track just a little bit better. My goodness. Somebody said, hello, those thinking, I'll pretend it's me here. All right, guys, please tap that screen. We got 4,000 likes. Let's get that up to, let's get it to 1 million. Let's see if we can get to 1 million likes. I appreciate it. Y'all start tapping there. Thanks so much. We got a ton of people in the queue. Maybe they'll hang around here. All right. Dang it, I wish I would put them in order. Who I knew was next here. I guess that's not one. Firebrand, what's happening, big dog? Yeah, y'all please tap and share there. It's what keeps us pumping out into the world and gets these debating juices flowing here. Y'all can tell, like, I try to be pretty calm. Like, I mean, it's hard when you have to repeat yourself a bunch of times. Like, but I mean, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. You know, I'm cool, y'all. I'm cool. Y'all see me. I don't start hollering and cussing and name calling people. I try to keep it welcoming here. If somebody wants to come talk, like, I'm bringing the hard points, but I'm not gonna do it while I'm hollering and name calling like a third grade argument here. Let's see. Who was? Hello. Welcome through, everybody. Welcome through, everybody. We're aiming at 1 million likes right now. So please tap the screen so we can get up to 1 million. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, let's try the next one. Nope. Well, yeah, I agree. The Trinity is illogical. The hard part is when you talk to a Christian who accepts that position, they've already accepted an illogical position. So when they try to argue that it is logical and other people aren't accepting it, they're thinking, I get it. Why aren't they getting this? So we're not getting it because it actually doesn't make any sense, even though you've already accepted it. All right, so certainly we've still got like 4 people to go through, but we're running right through them here. Thanks so much, Sailor Man. What's happening? Sailor Man. I wonder if he's a real sailor. That would be pretty cool. Crap. I'm going to have to go holler at this damn dog again. The smallest dog we got's also by far the loudest. Barking a damn cat in the window. Get rape shit on it. Alright, let's see. Oh, nope. Lord, we had like 8 people in the queue and we're down to two here. We got Holleberry and 6767. Actually, y'all hang out for. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Let me try to quieten this dog here. Darn animals. Darn animals. Sorry about that. Alright, let's bring up, I think Holleberry was next if he's still here. Oh, last one's a charm. 67, you there?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're over 18?
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you one of the Christians?
Yeah.
Cool. So which one of these topics did you want to debate us on today?
Yeah, so you said the Trinity is illogical.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you justify that?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me that Jesus is begging God, who is himself, to remove a burden from himself and saying things like, do your will and not mine. So they have two clearly separate wills, and they're two clearly separate beings, and it makes no sense that he would be asking himself to remove a burden from himself that he planned to put on himself.
No, so that's Jesus submitting his human will to the divine will. So Jesus is two different natures.
Jesus is the divine will, according to you.
No, Jesus has two wills. We believe Jesus. What?
Oh, he has like a split personality?
No, he's not split personality. But anyway, yeah, he has two different natures, and obviously will, mind, these things, intellects are predicated to the essence. So if he has two different essences, and so his human will, yeah, because it's obviously
so Jesus has two essences, and these essences ask each other questions and talk to each other like they
no, because essence,
each other, right?
The essence doesn't do things; they don't act. The persons act to feel the essence. Okay.
Oh, okay. So there's persons, cool. Right? Not person.
Yeah, persons, three distinct persons. So you haven't really brought, three. You haven't really brought any contention
That's
against
three,
how.
Not one.
What? You haven't brought any contention as to how the Trinity is illogical. You're saying stuff.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense that someone is talking to themselves.
That's a personal incredulity fallacy. What?
Okay, so explain it for us. What makes it logical that someone's asking himself to remove burdens from himself?
He's not asking himself in the sense that he's asking,
Who's he
like
talking
he
to?
is the Father. He's talking to the Father.
Is Jesus the Father?
No.
Is Jesus God?
Yes.
Is God the Father?
Yes.
Did those words sound right when they came out of your mouth?
Yeah, because God is not a rigid designator. You can use God in different senses. Like you can,
You're saying Jesus is God, God is the Father, but Jesus isn't the Father.
Again, God is not a rigid designator. It's not a unequivocal term. So when I say God, I can be referencing one person, three persons, the essence. So it's basic like religion. Like if you can study religion, anybody knows this. God is not a
That's
rigid
because you've
designator.
accepted an illogical position, so you expect everybody else to understand it when you try to explain it, though you're just explaining it with logic. Should
I show you an atheistic, I don't know, person that showed that agrees that God is not a rigid designator? This is basic.
I don't even know what that means. I just know it makes no sense to say
you don't
Jesus
even know what
is this Messiah that God prophesied from coming from the loins of David, and God comes from the loins of David. Like, I don't think so. That's
what?
Not a coherent concept.
Bro, you don't even know what a rigid designator is. Okay, so I'll explain it to you. So when I say God,
sounds like a cope with your stuff.
No,
not making any
it's
sense
basic. Anybody
like.
See, you start the live where you don't even know religion. Anybody who studies religion knows the terms I'm using. Rigid designator, unequivocal term. So cool. When I say God is not a rigid,
words at me if I don't know what they mean. I'm gonna take them.
Great. So I'm explaining it to you. So if you can let me finish, great. Okay. So when I say God is not a rigid designator, I'm saying God cannot be only used in this sense. So when I say God, I can be picking out the essence. I could be picking out this person. I could be picking out this person. I could also be picking out multiple false gods. Again, God is not a rigid designator. So The point that you're
So
trying
who's
to
Jesus
do,
praying
Father
to?
is God, huh?
So who's Jesus praying to?
To the Father.
And the Father's God, right?
Yeah, same God as the Son.
And Jesus is God.
Yeah, the same. They're the same God. They're different persons. You don't know the difference between person and essence. Like, you don't
Do you
know.
not understand what you're saying here?
I do, but you clearly don't. So you're
Yeah,
you're
I
appealing to
don't
rhetoric.
understand what you're saying. Absolutely not. Like, I just don't. I don't see how y'all can answer these questions yes
Wait,
or
hold
no,
on.
and then proceed to keep talking after that without going, yeah, okay,
Okay,
that don't make
wait,
any
hold on.
sense.
Since you clearly don't understand what the Trinity is, can you define what the Trinity is?
Yeah, it's Jesus supposedly being three distinct beings in one being. 1, 2, 3 makes 3, not 1. You're saying
Wait.
3
Are
different
you saying
things.
Jesus is
Jesus
the
is God and also the Holy Spirit.
wait? Are you saying Jesus is the
Everybody
three
knows what
distinct
y'all think.
persons?
No, it's not a
No, that
secret
is
what
not what we
Christians
believe.
believe. Like, everybody knows what y'all think.
You don't even know what the Trinity is. Okay, cool.
Yes, I do.
You just said Jesus is the three
It's an
distinct persons.
incoherent concept of
You
Jesus
just said
being
Jesus is
God
the
and
three
Jesus
distinct
also
persons.
being the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit being God and God also
Okay.
being Jesus.
Yes. Okay. So how is
Yeah.
it? So
Like
okay,
I said,
cool.
everybody knows y'all's positions.
You clearly didn't. I had to correct you. So cool. When we say there's
No, you
one
didn't.
God, so
I
wait,
argue this all the time, every day. I have hundreds of
you
hours of video.
that was where you clearly. Well, this
Okay.
is so funny. All right, cool. So obviously,
It is funny.
yeah. So
What's
cool.
funny is y'all think the other people are being funny and not you when you're saying Jesus isn't talking to the Father, but Jesus is the Father, but he's not the Father.
He isn't the
It's
Father because
funny.
they're relationally distinct. It's a relation
Yeah, but he is the
distinction.
Father. You're saying Jesus is God, God is the Father, but Jesus is the Father. That makes
And
no sense
what was
at
my
all.
response? What was my response to that? What was my response? Do you
You use
remember?
big words at me after that. You said you
Big
don't even know
words.
what these big words I'm using are.
When I explained the quote unquote big words to you, and you still can't understand. So
Yeah, somehow you
you
think
just
that
have
gets you
low
out of
you just have low
Jesus
IQ,
praying
bro.
to
It's
Jesus.
low IQ, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's low IQ. I don't even do
I
ad
never said I was a
hominems.
genius. I'm a very simple person, simple minded, but it don't take a genius to understand there's something real wrong with what y'all are saying.
Okay, when we say they're the same God, that'll be a good question for you to ask. What do you mean when we say the same God? When we say they're the same God, we mean they have the same
You're
one
trying to say
essence.
it's the same being, but they're not the same being. You're
Uh,
holding
what
two opposing views at once.
what's the distinction in the being?
You're saying Jesus is God, but he's not God. Two opposing views at once.
What's the distinction in the being?
You're saying Jesus is God, but he's not God.
What's the distinction in the
Simultaneously.
being? You just said they're not the same being. Can you please provide a distinction between the being of
One is
Jesus?
a dude who was running around first century Jerusalem, and the other one is an all-powerful, immortal ruler of the universe.
Are you doing
That's
an
pretty
internal?
different.
Are you doing an internal critique or an external critique?
Whose critique am I supposed to be using?
You're supposed to be using my what? You're doing an internal critique. I'm showing you. You're doing an internal critique, and if you're doing an internal critique, you have to accept my
Yeah, and it
position.
shouldn't take a genius to know that when you
So
say
in my position,
Jesus
what's the
is God, but
distinction?
Jesus is not God,
Oh my
something's
days, you're so
wrong.
low tier, bro. Can you please track?
Okay.
If you're doing an internal
Yeah.
critique, okay,
I can
actually
track
listen to what I'm
logic,
saying.
not what you're saying, though.
You don't even wait. What are the 3 laws of logic?
The what?
What are the 3 laws of logic?
Oh, gosh, I know this one. Hold on.
Yeah,
I
you
know
know
this
this
one.
one.
I know
Go
this
on.
one. All right, there's the one in the middle.
One in the middle, please. Can you please just use
No
the
contradictions and no right on red, right?
no route en route?
No right on red. Oh, wait, no, that don't make any sense. What's the other one? Jesus' identity, that's the one.
Okay, I'm just gonna ignore that.
Okay.
Um,
So Jesus is God, but he's not the Father, but the Father is God. Make that make sense for us, please.
okay, I made that made sense. Meaning, God is not a rigid designator.
Oh, so I'm going to say
yeah.
these words that have some sort of meaning, and that gets me out of this illogical position.
Wait, if it's illogical, can you please show me like what law
I
of law
just
does it
did.
violate?
Do you not understand simple words?
Okay, tell me what law. Tell me what law.
Like,
tell me what
I
law.
can't say that I am that person over
Yeah,
there. I
tell me
am
what law.
him,
Tell me what
but
law.
I'm also me. That
Tell me
makes
what
no
law.
sense.
Okay,
What?
cool. I don't, bro. This is
It's a contradiction.
Actually,
about
bro, I
identity.
joined the live thinking like you actually knew you. Stop. The full bro of things is making sense. Bro, you guys are so slow.
Yeah,
What does
we're the
rigid
slow ones. Yeah,
designate to
of
me?
course. Yeah, you got us.
Yeah,
We're so
I
simple
did.
that we don't
I actually
understand
did.
your nonsense.
It's simple words, bro. But anyway,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
If I'll explain it one more time. The Father is not the Son is not the Holy Spirit. These three are distinct persons. Persons and
And
essence
you're
are.
also saying that
Can
these
I
three are the
finish?
same being.
Yes, because person is not identical to
Yes,
being.
that's called a big old fat contradiction. And how it's
What's
not obvious to you
what's the
is
A and not A in the
beyond my
same sense?
understanding forever.
What's the A and wait? What's the A and not A in the same sense?
The what?
The A and not A in the same sense.
You have made A three distinct persons and saying three distinct persons are the same being.
This is so. There's no way. Oh my days, bro! Please, somebody in the comments. There's no. Even if you agree with this guy, even if you think like, even if you're atheist, please. There's no way you actually follow what he's saying. There's no way. But
I
anyway,
don't know. We could ask. Yeah, does it sound
bro,
like I know what I'm talking
it
about?
just.
Y'all? Am I making sense here?
I one in
Am
the
I
chat if you
crazy
agree with him. One in the
to
chat if you
say
agree with
that
the
three
host.
distinct beings are the same being?
They're not.
Am
You're
I
doing an
crazy?
internal critique. They're not three distinct beings.
Oh, you
Great.
said
Wait.
they are. You
No,
just
I
used
said
those
three
words.
distinct persons. Wait. Do you think persons
Oh,
and beings
yeah,
are the same
three
thing?
people. That's 1, 2,
You
3.
think
Last time I
persons and
checked,
beings?
that equals 3, not 1.
You wait. What do you
You can
believe
do
that?
simple math, right? Three
Do you believe?
distinct persons, 1, 2, 3,
Wait.
are in fact one distinct person.
Wait. Do you believe that there's no distinction between person and being?
Huh?
Do you believe that there's no distinction between person and being? Meaning, you believe that person and being are the same exact thing?
I don't know, but I'm saying if you're saying three beings are separate and also the same
I never said
being,
that.
makes
I never
no
said
sense
that.
to me.
I said three
Yes, you
persons.
did.
Are persons beings? Is person identical to being?
And can
Yes or
my
no?
person be another person?
Wait, please answer the question. Is person identical to being?
What?
Is person
know. Is
identical
it?
to being?
I have no idea.
Bro. Okay, so you're gonna have to concede that a rock, for instance, a rock is a being. So you're gonna have to say a rock has personhood. Does a rock
I'm
has
not going to concede that this rock and that rock are the same rock.
Wait. Does a rock have personhood?
I don't know. You use
my
the rock
days.
as an example, so that's what
You
I'm
don't-
using an example back with.
Chat, there's no way. Wait. You don't you don't know if a rock has
You
personhood
think a
or
dude
not.
from the first
Come on,
century
you're
is
old-
God
come on, bro.
himself,
Come on, bro.
and I'm the crazy one here.
Come on, bro. You don't know whether a rock has personhood or not? Damn, bro.
I don't even know what you're talking. I don't even know how we got on the rock. How did we get on rocks?
Because a rock is a being. Being just necessitates some type
rock
of
is a being.
existence. Yes, exists. It exists. Everything
What
that
kind
actually
of being is a rock?
solid. You could derive the properties
Solid?
of the rock.
Just a solid being?
A solid, I don't know. You know how rocks are formed, like lava. It gets colder and then it just freezes. So yeah, these are the properties that you can derive of a rock. So every being is not a person.
Can a rock be a god?
No, what the hell?
Can
No.
God be a rock?
No.
So God can't be a rock if God wants to be a rock.
Yeah, because a rock doesn't have rationality. God can only take on the essence of something that has
Doesn't
rationality,
sound very
like
all
humans do.
powerful.
No, because that's that's stupid. That doesn't even make sense.
Oh.
Thank
Well,
you.
it don't make sense to me that Jesus is an all-powerful God of the universe when he was clearly just a dude in the first century who had a clearly separate will than God.
Nah, he had two different wills insofar as his essence and his nature.
Yeah, you're saying he had two wills that were the
Yeah.
same will, even though they were opposing
They were the
wills.
same will.
That's called
I never
contradiction.
I never said they were the same will. Stop assuming my position. See?
You are saying they're the same because you're saying Jesus is God. That's what
Yeah,
you don't
because
seem
Jesus
to
is God.
understand.
Wait,
You're
what is it?
claiming they're the same and they're different
Yeah,
at the
they
same
are the
time.
same. Yes. So in virtue of his divinity, Jesus has the same will as the Father. But in virtue of his humanity, he has a different will. So he submits his human will to the divinity. It's basic Trinity 101. You don't even know what the Trinity is.
Trinity 101. It's a logical 101 is what it is.
Look, bro, stop going back to
It's Christian logic 101.
You don't even know the laws of logic. Please. So I came
I
here.
already told you the laws of logic.
No, you didn't. You said
Yes, I did. The one in the middle the one
The
with
one in the middle.
contradictions,
Yeah, the
and then
one in the
Jesus' identity. That's the
the
three
one in
laws
the
of logic.
middle. The one in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
The one
yeah.
in the
It
middle.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure Aquinas, Aristotle, they all said the one in the middle. Yeah, I'm sure they all defined it.
Well, I'm not. Well, neither one of them thought a dude was God. So
What? Yes, they did. Aquinas did.
oh, they did. That's
Aquinas was a
hilarious.
Catholic, Tommy.
Oh, okay. So
You
he
know
was
what?
just as
I
illogical
apologize
as
for
you
calling
are.
you Tommy. I apologize. Huh?
Whatever.
Yeah, what did he
I've
say?
been called much worse. Don't bother me. I promise.
What was your question?
Oh, I don't remember. Anyway, so we're gonna move on to something else, or
No, but my whole point is that person and essence. Essence is obviously, you can use being for essence. Person does not mean essence. Person literally just means like an underlying reality of a
does three
rational
distinct
nature.
persons mean three distinct persons?
Yes.
So how are three distinct persons in fact one person?
They're not one person. I never claimed that. These three distinct
Yes, you
persons
did.
are one being.
That's what
Because
the Trinity is. You're saying three distinct
no,
beings are in fact the
no.
same being.
Listen. I said three distinct persons are one being. Person and being are not
No
the same
shit.
thing.
That is what I've said 10 times now.
No, you said the three distinct beings. I said no, the three distinct persons. Person and being are two different
Three
souls.
distinct persons who are the same being.
Yes,
That's
thank
what
you,
you're
thank you,
saying.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Three distinct. And I've said 10 times now. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, not 1. You get that,
Oh
right?
my case. This is you're confusing two different categories, okay? So you're confusing two different categories. Person and being are not under the same.
Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah.
Yeah, because person and being are not under the same soul. When we say soul,
Yeah.
souls
Yeah, I
are
have
just
to
referring
adhere to your little definitions of essences and stuff here to make sense of your crazy logic.
use your definition. What's
I
your
get it.
definition? I'll use your definition.
I
I
get
don't care. What's your definition? Define
Definition of what?
essence. Define essence. Define essence.
I don't know what essence means.
You don't even know what essence means. You define being.
No.
You don't know what being is.
Yourself.
What, bro? Be honest, bro.
Yourself. You be yourself. That's being.
Bro, what? Okay.
If you're a rock, you're just solid, right? That's solid being, right?
Yeah, but it's got a different being.
Yeah. So you don't even know what you're talking about. You're saying a rock's being is solid.
Yeah, what? A rock is a being. Of course it is.
Yeah, a solid being, right?
Yeah,
Rock's being is solid.
Yeah, a property of its being is solid.
So you can just name anything you want if you're just gonna say a rock's being is solid. Like, what the fuck?
Wait, what? Is it not? Wait. What do you define
it
being?
is. Yeah, it is.
Bro,
Yeah,
being
totally.
literally just means
All right.
being
Well, we
essence.
appreciate you coming up there, buddy.
Bro, this is so low tier.
Yeah, I hear you. It is very low tier. I agree. Yeah, I hear you. Well, you whipped all over me that session. Clearly, I'm the crazy one. A rock's being is solid. Man, you gotta love that. Solid being. The solidness of the being of the rock. Oh, man. We'll have to put that on a t-shirt or something. All right, let's see if JJ's here. Oh, man, that's funny. JJ, you there? Or wait, no, maybe he's not. He's there, he's muted, he's not there. Everyone but Christians glitch. That's what's always so crazy to me. Like, they laugh at everybody else for understandably not knowing what the hell they're talking about. And everybody else are the low tier ones. It's a crazy world we live in. Reality's wild like that sometimes, y'all. It's wild. It's what keeps it interesting, though, ain't it? It can't be too easy, too straightforward, I don't think. We can't. That's what religion does to people's brain rot. CB, you there?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, buddy? Are you over 18?
Yeah, man, I'm 18. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing great. Are you a Christian?
Yes, for sure. What are you willing to debate? What topics have you already touched today?
Let's see. We haven't got to God is unjust or Bible morals or a bad joke yet.
Okay, so why do you believe God is unjust?
Because he does unjust things like generational punishments.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was getting called. What do you mean by generational punishments? What are you referring to
He
there?
says, I will punish people to the 10th generation for stuff. So he's punishing somebody's great, 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 great grandson for the crimes of their great, 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 great grandfather.
Okay, would you
I
like
don't
me,
consider
would you
that
like to
justice.
tell me what verse you're basing this on, or what part of the Bible?
Yeah, that's in Deuteronomy, but there's lots of Levitic and Deuteronomic laws that give generational punishments. Like it says, if you have your privy cut off in the King James or your stones crushed, then you can't enter the congregation of the Lord to the 10th generation.
Okay,
So you just don't know it says that, or
what do you exactly mean by a generational punishment?
he punishes generations of people for what a single generation did. That's what I'm talking about.
And why is that a bad thing to you?
Because it's not justice. It's people are being punished who are completely innocent
How
for
is it
whatever the
like? How
crime
is it
was.
not justice if literally anyone can enter the kingdom of Jesus? How is it not?
Well, if you robbed an old lady and somebody beat your mom up for it, would you consider that justice?
Not necessarily. I think God is the
Okay,
only
well
one that
then
can judge.
punishing your mom for your crime is not justice. That's what I'm talking about here. Punishing other people for one person's crime is not justice.
Okay, but it's not the case that other people can go to hell for what I'm doing, or that I can go to hell for what someone else did. That's just not true.
Yeah, but God can unalive them all and wipe out entire groups of people.
Yeah, he can do anything he wants because he's God. But like you have to
Yeah,
understand,
but
like
that doesn't make it just, does it?
it's not like possible for him to do anything bad.
Oh, it is possible. I disagree. Like David commits a sin and God unalive 70,000 Israelites as a result. Like, to me, that's just psychotic. It's not justice at all, or love, or anything of the sort. I don't even think you think that. I think you're just making an exception for your God here.
Not really, but do you really think like this opinion matters when it's literally factual that God is literally good and he cannot do anything but great
He's
things?
not good because he's doing a bunch of evil stuff in here. Like, he makes the Israelites eat their own children in the siege of Jerusalem. Like, that's evil.
What's your definition of good?
I don't know, something favorable.
Like, what do you think is the source of good? Like, the source of good things?
There's no source for it, though. Just humans' brains. It's a concept.
Like, if you don't go by the Bible, what do you think? Like, what do you think decides what good or bad is? Like, do you think that's
Our
just
brains.
people?
Yeah.
But you believe like the Earth was created, not created, but it just happened, like the Big Bang Theory or some shit like that?
Accretion disk theory is how planets are formed.
Does that make like more sense to you than there being a creator?
Yeah, because there's actual evidence for it.
So if everything, literally everything is created, you think the only thing that's not created is Earth?
Everything's not created.
Like the
Things
building
just
you're in is
arise
created,
naturally.
the
I
microphone
don't
you're
think we're
using is
talking.
created.
I don't think we're using creation in the same thing. But either way, we've gone off justice here. So how is it justice that David commits a sin and God unalives 70,000 people because of what David did? What sort of justice is that?
Wait, so David committed a sin and 70,000 people died because of that?
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
that's what the book says.
Where does it say
You want me to
it? Where does it say that actually?
You want me to read it to you?
Yeah, for sure.
So when I read it and it says what I say it says, you're going to say I was right and admit God is unjust, right?
No, actually not.
Oh.
But I still want to know like what the context is and what exactly
The
happened.
context is David was ordered to take a census by God. So he does it. But God doesn't like that for some reason or another, that David took the census that he told him to take, so he unalived 70,000 Israelites in a pestilence.
If what you're saying is true and that happened and God did it, I think all 72,000 deserved it.
What did they do to deserve it?
Wait, I'm sorry.
You're saying 70,000 people deserve to be unalived because David counted them?
For sure. If that was God's decision, it was the best decision to be made at that time. 100%.
Wow.
Am I wrong
Bruh,
for
that
that?
is insane.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. Why is that
You
so
think it's
crazy?
okay to unalive 70,000 people because one dude counted the people that you told him to count?
I mean, it was God's decision. God knows best. If that was
God
the,
knows
the
best,
thing
huh?
he did, they might as well deserve it, yeah? If I'm being
So,
honest.
what's something evil God could do that you would know he was actually doing something evil?
Like, I'm not saying God can't do evil, like he's capable of doing anything, but that's just
How
not
would you know if he
his
did?
way. That's very interesting. If he like led people to hell, that would be evil. Like if Jesus didn't come to earth, and if he wasn't sacrificed for our sins, I think that might have been evil, because then we would all destined to go to hell.
What about these 70,000 people, though?
I mean, they deserved it, bro. It was God's decision. God knows best.
You're literally saying to the world right now that 70,000 people deserve to die because David counted them.
For sure, bro. Do you believe in evil?
I believe in there's a concept of evil.
Do you believe there is a source of evil?
Do you?
For sure.
It doesn't sound like it.
Because what's interesting with atheists, right? They believe in
What
good, they
makes it
believe
okay
in
to
bad,
unalive
they believe in
70,000 people
evil.
for what one person did? Like, square that up for us. What makes that justified?
I mean, it was God's decision, bro. I don't know why we should keep
So
hovering around this.
if
I don't
God
know why
does
we
some
should
evil
keep
stuff,
hovering around this.
it's justice automatically, right? That's what you're saying.
Sorry, what was that?
So you're saying if God does it, it's good no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's called divine command theory.
Okay, but
And
can we
that's what
stop?
makes
Can
this
we?
whole ideology so dangerous, is that you can't even distinguish evil from good when it comes to this divine source here.
No, I could definitely distinguish evil from good. That's not what I'm saying.
You can't. You can't even tell us that this is evil, that this God is unaliving 70,000 people because one person counted them. You're saying that's okay.
Do you think of all intelligent Christian philosophers in history, everyone, do you think like you're the guy that figured it out? Like, oh, because you said God is evil,
I'm
he's
just
evil.
one among
Like you
many, and
figured
I'm
it
the
out,
one you're
right?
talking to right now. There's lots of people that's figured this out. I'm not the only atheist around here who saw the bogusness in this book.
But not all atheists have
There
the
was
most.
people around this time who was writing the same stuff I'm saying. Like, you
So
ever
this is
wrote
the reason you don't believe in God. Like this is the whole reason, because you think he's evil.
No, I don't believe in him because I don't think this book is right, because there's failed prophecies and all kind of stuff that if this God was all-knowing, it shouldn't be getting wrong. But I think this God is evil based on the things he does, like unaliving babies for what someone else did. Like, in my book, that is evil.
Okay, so all your beliefs and all your grounds are based on science. Like you believe in, what was it, the Big Bang Theory?
What does that
Like
have to do with this?
it has a lot to do with this.
How?
Because it makes it a lot easier to debate you if I know your standpoints.
What my standpoint on the Big Bang
Yeah, your
makes
standpoint
no
on how you
impact
think
at
the
all
earth was
on whether this
created.
God
Because
unaliving
if I'm
70,000
debating
people
you
for one
on
person's
Christ, if
crime
I'm
is
debating you
just
on
or
the
not.
Bible, if I'm debating you on this standpoint, it would make it a lot easier for me to know where you're coming from. Like,
I'm coming from the position that I don't like that 70,000 people are murdered for what one person did. Especially when the one person did what the God told him to do. What an awful crime, obeying the Lord. I don't understand how you don't, like, at least have some hesitation about this story. Like, you're just so freely like,
yeah, why
it's
would I
totally cool.
like
Yeah.
if I
Nothing out
believe
of the
in
ordinary
Christ?
here. Nothing
Why would I
unjust
have
going
any
on around here.
hesitation?
Do what?
Like, why would I have any hesitation if it was God's decision? It
I don't
must have been
know.
a good decision, right?
I don't know. Maybe just because of how messed up it sounds.
Do you think there are people that deserve to die on this earth?
I find this deeply disturbing. I wish some of y'all would join me.
Do you believe that there are people who deserve to die or not?
Sure, probably.
And when is like, let's say you have a daughter and someone does something terrible, you think he should die?
It depends.
Depends on what?
Depends on what you mean by terrible, for one thing.
Like things we couldn't say on TikTok, like some fucked up shit. Like you
I
can
don't know. I
imagine
would
what I'm
probably
talking
feel
about.
like they deserve to die. Whether they actually did or not is a different debate. Yeah, if somebody unalived my daughter, I would have no problem with them being unalived in turn.
So can we agree there are people who deserve it?
Yeah, can we agree that 70,000 people don't deserve to die for what one person did?
And maybe they deserved it. Who knows?
How did
Like
they deserve it? How did they deserve it?
Before Christ, people were fucking goats, doing blood sacrifices, R-wording
Holy
children
shit.
and stuff.
All right, man. Boy, oh boy. Yep. Them old goat fuckers. I think that's the people that wrote your book, dude. The one that you. That's what really I think is crazy about this stuff. You're like, hey, check out this insane shit this guy does, and everybody's like, it's just God being God, you know, it's cool. So blasé about atrocities is that's what really scares me about these things. I think. Holy crap, y'all! Holy crap. I just feel like we can do better. I feel like we can do better. But at the same time, I'm still a little understanding because, like, I mean, that's just what religion does to people. That's what it fucking does. And I mean, I wish you could make somebody understand, like, hey, this is clearly evil. How do you not notice that? Boy. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Didn't I already talk to you? Which one were you? 6, 7, I already talked to him. I got a pretty bad memory. I don't even remember which one he is now. Oh, the crazy conversations are starting to run together. Oh, yeah. Sorry, not interested, buddy. No essences here. Come back tomorrow. Maybe I have forgotten that you can remind me tomorrow. I'll forgive you tomorrow because I'm more merciful than your God is. Tomorrow, I'll be more forgiving. I can sleep on it. I won't pronounce evil against you. All right, guys, I have run out of the queue again, so please tap that screen. Keep the screen taps going. The essence of my phone is gone. Like, yeah, if I use big words and definitions, I can explain my way out of this incoherent position I got. How can you not get it? You're so dumb. How do you not understand? 2, 3 separate persons are the same being, but not beings, but not persons. How do you not get it, man? These are some crazy conversations we have with believers in here. That's cool, though. I don't know why, but I enjoy it. Sometimes, most of the time, anyway. Sometimes I feel like I'm need to go bang my head on the wall for a while. Goodness gracious. I am me, and I am you, and we are us. We are one. That'll never make sense. Bruh, I don't know what part of come back tomorrow you don't understand. Like, you can keep requesting, but I don't like... It just goes to show you how bad some people are at listening. Like, yeah, I'll just keep requesting, even though he said I can't come back, you know. Yes, you make me so eager to talk to you again. Yeah, I noticed, Carb. They always do that. I expect it. It's cool. And I agree. The Filbo apologists are desperate. That's why they're desperate to avoid the actual questions being asked. So they make underlying arguments to try to. I call it. I actually made a little term for this. I call it not drag racing arguments. So imagine two cars are going to race, and that's the argument, and that's the topic. So Phil Bros come in and say, "Oh, you have no basis for what you think justice is, or some shit." So they're trying to actually get out of having the actual argument where you can just agree on what justice is and prove this God violates that. So they'll just keep arguing about the underline. So the reason I call it a drag racing thing is because the Phil Bros, instead of just getting in the damn car and racing, before the race, they run to the courthouse and try to have your license revoked. That's how they roll. It's pretty sad. But yes, I call that the not drag racing arguments. It's when they make underlying arguments instead of addressing the actual point. I get it, though. If you actually just define justice and prove God violates it, you lose the argument pretty quick. Unless you just say, unaliving 70,000 people for what one person did is, yeah, that's totally cool and justified. Yeah, right. Yep. Still fuck. Oh, here's one maybe. Who made that mess? Are you there?
So, do you want to talk about whether or not God exists, or?
Sure. You over 18?
Yeah,
And you're a Christian?
yeah.
Oh, well, I don't really debate that because it's more of a philosophical thing, but I could argue the God of the Bible don't exist.
I mean, you would have to come to the conclusion that it's not possible for God to exist at all to even
I
start
don't
that
think it is
conversation.
possible.
Yes, it's me, bro. It is 6'7". Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
so you've deceived me now.
Yeah, I did. No, because like I thought you was cool.
So you're
like
being dishonest to get
rude.
up here.
Dishonest. If I lied,
Yeah.
I didn't lie. I was honest.
No,
I was
you intentionally deceived me to get up here on the stage again.
sure.
Okay, sure. Thanks for admitting it.
Didi. Now you're
All right. Well, we'll remember him next time. I'm gonna get on my other account so I can get back up here. It's probably all right to talk to if he just calmed down and like address the stuff. But I told you, bro, you're gonna have to wait till tomorrow. I'll be back on tomorrow. Let's see. Yes, indeed. Yeah. It is never like the Old Testament don't even suggest that God is just. Like it don't say that shit. Like there's instances of it's kind of justifying God's actions, but the whole point of the New Covenant in the Old Testament was that justice would actually take over and these generational punishments would stop. It like explicitly tells you this in Jeremiah chapter 31. It even gives a little example. It says the parents have eaten sour grapes and the children's teeth have been set on edge. And right before that, it says, they shall no longer say. The children's teeth are set on edge because the parents eat sour grapes. The next line says, literally, verbatim, each shall die for their own sins. The one who eats the grapes will have their teeth set on edge. So it's literally implementing individual accountability in the new covenant. Like, this is the whole point of these things. Like, of course, some have never read that, so they wouldn't know, I suppose, but... Yeah, I think when they answer those first few questions, just the yes or no's they lose, in my opinion, but they usually keep talking after that. Usually keep talking. All right, we have ran out of the queue once again, even though people are coming through constantly. Most of it's accidents. So please keep tapping that screen. I still got a while. We can keep on rolling here. I'd really like to try to take off here and make it to like 900 followers today. That would be awesome. Which we still need a pretty good. We still need like 22 more, which is doable. I've got almost 50 in a live before. That's right, Philo Dragon, or Philo Dragon, or Philo Dragon. Yeah, I agree. I ain't crazy about the Phil Bros either. Like, I love philosophy, but like philosophy to me was never meant for like making arguments to prove things. Like, philosophy is more about just like critical examinations and like how to live a good life and stuff like that. That's all it is. Dude, if you keep requesting up here, I'm gonna block you. You keep making me reach up there and hit my thing when it's not actually just making me burn half a calorie for nothing. Yes, that was deception. Not the worst kind of deception, but deception nonetheless. At least you said it pretty quick, though. I was actually about to say, I was like, you sound just like that other guy I just talked to. Thank you for the like. Y'all, please keep tapping that screen. That's what gets us people flowing up in here to debate on, debate at, and debate with. And I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody. All right, let's see. Oh, Quest, you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. Are you over 18?
Yes.
Awesome. Are you one of the Christians?
No, sir. I don't support the doctrine of Christianity because it is a hybrid version of the Hebrew faith.
Oh, I agree. Well, we're just looking to debate Christians up here today.
Is there any reason why you only targeting Christians?
Well, I used to be one, and I know it the best, and I live in a majority Christian country, so it just makes the most sense.
Okay, well, you do realize that is a colonization religion.
Okay. Well, sure enough. Yeah, Christians are trying to take over my country, so. Well, not really, but some of them are. Give them an inch, they'll take them all. Like old Trump. There's a Christian for you, huh? There's a Christian for you. I'll be damned. I thought epistemology was the study of pistols. I thought I was pretty learned in that too. Guess I'm not. Shit. Anyway, y'all please keep tapping that screen. Get us some more Christians up here to debate. Hopefully one that can carry a conversation. Be nice. Trying to tell you, I don't let people use these big words on me. Yes, I agree. It has. That's why I dislike it quite a lot. I have no respect at all for such ideologies, but I do, in fact, have respect for the people that hold them. But like me, you'll have to be like shaken out of this. Then you'll wake up. You know what I'm saying? Thanks so much. Y'all, please, we are trying to get to 1 million likes today. That would be great if we could get to 1 million. So y'all keep tapping that screen. Maybe even 2 million. I think we can get to 2 million if we tap enough. It's possible, right? Olive Dragon, thank you. I appreciate the shit out of that. Damn, look at him go. Wow. Holy crap, man. Thank you. That tickles me shitless. That helps the stream a lot. Helps get us going in the algorithms. Dang, you are the man, cuz. We are on our way to 1 million likes and 1 million fast pops and 1 million roses, baby. Sailor Man, thank you. Thank you, guys. Wow. Oh, man. Y'all make me want to cry sometimes. Like, When I first learned that somebody gave me 3 pennies, like I teared up for real. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me! Somebody gave me money. This is unbelievable. Little's a lot, man." Oh, let's see what this is. Maybe we got somebody here. Philo, thank you. Holy crap. Architect, you there? Hello? Architect?
Yeah.
Hello? I don't know if he's here on purpose or not.
Got it. Can you hear me now?
Oh, shit. My bad, man. Shit, I was dropping you because I couldn't hear you. I heard you right after I pressed the button. But come back up if you got a little signal there. Follow Dragon. Message me your damn address. You're getting a Christmas card, buddy. You're getting a postcard that says, "Happy Saturnalia." Joshua, what's up, my dog? What is up? We'll send Joshua a Christmas card too. Say, "Merry Christmas." All right, let's get Architect back up in here. Hey, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better, much better. Are you over 18?
Yes, I'm 49.
Awesome, that's a good age. Are you a Christian?
No.
Oh.
I didn't know if you wanted anybody to come up that's not trying to debate. I just had other, some points that maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't. I don't know.
Oh, well, if you don't care, just throw them in the comments. But yeah, we're just looking to debate Christians up in here.
Yeah, okay. I figured that. So I thought I'd try.
Yeah, cool, man. One of these, once I build up a little more, I'm going to do some streams where, I'm going to drop you back. Sorry, man. But I'll build the streams up where I'll do more like, I actually want to do one where like atheists can pop up and like maybe do some deconversion stories or something like that. That'd be neat. But so far, like trying to build the channel up, from my experience, every time I brought up another atheist and we was just kind of blowing each other with atheist bullshit at a dragon. Oh, shit. Wow, that was awesome. Dude, thank you. Holy shit, that was so cool. I forgot what the hell I was talking about. Wow, how cool is that shit? Dang, I hope that recorded that. Man, that was so cool. Thank you. Wow. Wow, that's freaking cool. Dang, thank you, man. Thank you. Man, that was cool to see. I ain't never seen that before. The first time I've only got a couple galaxies, but the first time anybody sent me one of those, my screen lit up. I had no idea what it was. I was like, what the fuck was that? But I was a little bit mesmerized. It was pretty cool there. Oh, yeah, but I was saying anytime I've ever brought up like another atheist and we was just bullshitting atheists, like the viewership just collapsed. So I was like, let's just keep it entertaining for an audience that's up here and just leave the stage up for the topics here. I might even try 2 Christians at once. That might be interesting. But my queue's empty right now. But exude but a few moments of patience, and we always get one in here. I think the longest I've ever had to wait on somebody was 5 or 10 minutes, but we always get somebody to debate in here. It never fails, especially with such an amazing fucking group of folks down here gifting out and tapping the screen. We are bound to get somebody to talk to up in here. We are bound. I have the strongest of faith. Thank you for the heart, buddy. Thank you, Sailor Man. Thank you, Sailor Man. Get a shot of my chocolate milk. What's up? What's up? Welcome through. Welcome through. There's lots of people coming through. Yeah, there's already been nearly 1,000 people in here so far that's came through, which is pretty amazing. And this is my 30th day in a row of this. I feel like I might need to take a day off soon, but I don't know, man. I'm so far in, like, it's kind of like, can you break a cycle like that? Like, I mean, I expect that one day I might wake up sick or wake up late and it'll just kind of fuck me on being on. So, I mean, it could happen, but 30 days in a row so far, y'all. They out here proselytizing every day. I got to be in here debating every day. That's just how it is. Oh yeah, totally, man. Here, I got you. Let me see if I remember how to do this. Yeah, yeah, I have no problem. Just remember, this is pretty much a free speech thing. As long as somebody's not saying like TikTok bannable stuff, anything goes, man. This is a free speech platform. You can say whatever you want. Like that's what I, excuse me. That's what I tell people. Who come up here. I say, you can literally say whatever you want to me. I don't care if you call me names. I don't care about none of that. Just don't do it while I'm asking a question 3 times in a row or some shit. Just be able to have the conversation, stick to the topic, and you're good to go. Philo Dragon, you are modded, baby. You are the mod. Mod shit up. Yeah, all right, let's see. There's a few people back in the queue now. Maybe we got somebody to debate in here. What does that say? Unfleshed, are you there?
Yeah, what's up, brother?
What's up, dog? Are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 33. I'm old.
Cool.
Old, getting up there.
Yeah, I'm still a decade ahead of you.
All right,
I
on.
look like a 25, but
Yeah, you're looking good.
so
You're
are
looking
you?
good.
Thank you. Are you a Christian?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, awesome. So which one of these topics did the Lord send you to debate us on today?
The Trinity is incoherent. That's a
good
tough
one.
one for me. I'm not really all that smart for that. I'll let you pick. Do you have any questions or kind of something you want to talk about?
Let's see here. How about, well, we just got started on the God is unjust one for the day. How about that one?
God is unjust.
Yeah, maybe you could make the faith look a little better on this question than the last guy.
Right. So, where do we start? Because we start from the beginning of the Bible and Adam and Eve. So when Adam and Eve was created, when God created Earth for their purpose, for them to exist, there was no death, there was no war, there was no disease, there was no need to eat food. Food was like a pleasurable thing. We didn't get sick off of it. When man rebelled against God, decided that I'm not going to listen to God, we still continue to do this to this day, each and every one of us. God gave us our punishment. Our punishment was death. So we get sick, which causes us to die. We can bleed, which causes us to die and be, we could be shot and be killed. So there's going to be ways, God's going to find ways to kill us, right? Because that's our punishment. We come back to God in the Old Testament when it was just Jews, right? Before Christ came back, the way we repaid for our sins was to sacrifice animals, sacrifice our crops, right? We still wouldn't even do that for God. We still rebelled. We still went against his word and worshiped other gods, did other things.
Sure. Well, my question there would be, how is it considered justice that every person on the planet was punished because of what 2 people originally did?
We don't receive the guilt of Adam, but we've received the corruption. So Adam was corrupted when he received the knowledge, right? We received the knowledge of sexual pleasure.
Well, they were punished with death, and everyone was punished of death. We did receive their guilt and punishment or whatever.
But yeah, man receives the first death. We all receive the first death, right? But when we are judged before God, we're being judged on whether or not we receive the second death, right? So we're already condemned to death. We've already gone on the front of God. When we're little children.
Let's agree on what justice is first. How about that?
Sure.
Okay, so would you agree that justice is getting what you deserve, like an eye for an eye? You do the crime, you do the time.
No, I don't agree with that entirely.
Okay, so what do you think justice is?
Well, what's God judgment is. If I was just talking to someone about this yesterday, if you mess up something, like you do something wrong, you like the example we used was running over a dog. Maybe it's not biblically immoral to do it, but you're probably going to feel bad about it, right? So if you bring that to yourself, right? If you become your own judge, you will justify it. You'll be like, oh man, it was just a dog. I'll be okay. If you bring it to some stranger, they're going to convict you, right? They're going to say, dang, you bring over that dog, you're a bad person. But if you bring it to God, God's going to understand. It was just an accident. You didn't mean to do it. You don't hate animals, but it was just a
I think
mistake.
a person would understand that too. So would you ever consider it justice if somebody ran over a dog and then we punished their great grandson for it?
Right. That wouldn't be justice, right?
Okay, so when God punishes generations of people for other people's crimes, that can't be justice either, right?
Well, we're not, again, we don't receive the punishment of death because we receive the guilt. It's not because we are
that's what happens
guilty
here a
because
whole
of
bunch of
Adam.
times
We've
in the
received the
Bible.
corruption. That's why we need to die.
But God
God, if we
unalives
were,
people for other people's crimes all through the Bible, though.
yeah, if we were eternal beings, right? If we did not die, Hitler would be alive. Mussolini would be alive. These people, we could never take care of their problems. We could never get rid of them, right? And they would be a constant force of evil on our planet. Yes or no? So we need to die. It is important that we die. We have to be humbled. If we're going to be,
This isn't about dying or not. This is about punishing people for other people's crimes. That's what justice is.
yeah, he made us, right? If you have a garden and you start planting flowers and the flowers look good, and then you plant a flower and then it starts growing and then it becomes corrupted either by insects or disease. I think a better example is that you have a bowl of tomatoes and then you put a tomato that's sickly in with the rest of it, right? It'll spoil the rest of the tomatoes. The same thing with a garden. If you put bad plants, if you put the wrong plant in your garden, it will kill your flowers, right?
Okay. All right. Well, hold on. Remember the question we had about the dog before when I asked you if it was just to punish somebody for running over the dog's great grandkids?
Right. That's
right. You said that's
not justice. We
right?
do that now.
Okay. So if God did do that, how would it be justice if God did it?
He made us. I didn't make Derek Chauvin or George Floyd. I didn't make Adolf Hitler. I didn't even make myself, right? But God did.
Right.
So he gets the judgment. He gets to say.
You don't deserve the punishment for somebody else's crimes.
Right, but that's where the second death comes in. My first punishment as man is death, physical death.
You've never died before.
But the punishment I'm really trying to avoid is separation from God after my physical body dies. I want my body to be joined with him in heaven. That's the reward. Like I don't mind if my body, if some terrorist blows me up and I'm bleeding out and having a horrible death, that's fine because I get to go be with my Jesus afterwards.
Yeah, but if it's not true, that was a really bad reason to die then, wasn't it?
Yeah, but if it's not true, then nothing happens. I get a nice good nap and I don't have to clock in or pay taxes anymore. It's pretty silly to
die for that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd rather be wrong about, an eternal God than try to believe that I'm my own God and I can save myself. Because it hasn't worked. It never works. Just like I said before, if you try to bring your own sins to yourself.
We're getting way too far from the actual topic here.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's a big topic. I mean, like, how can you just bring it down to one singular point?
It can be made pretty simple. So how can it be considered justified that David sins and God unalive 70,000 people because David sinned?
For what David did? David confessed. David came back to God and confessed his sins. And he changed. He didn't do that after he came back to God. Before he was.
David says, I have sinned. Me.
Yeah.
He says, why are you punishing these people for what I did?
Let's read that whole thing.
Okay.
Let me get my Bible. Where we got it here?
This is the census of David and Judah. Here, I'll just read it for you.
You got the book and chapter?
The anger of the Lord. Yeah, I'm in 2 Samuel chapter 24. I'll give you a second if you want to read along. Then we'll jump into this fantastic story here.
2 Samuel chapter 24. I'm almost there. 2 pages.
Yeah, and I'm going to skip the parts that say, like, redundant places or whatever.
I'm right here, brother. I got it.
I got you.
Chapter 24.
All right. Yeah. So in this one, it says again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he incited David against them, saying, "Go, count the people of Israel and Judah." So the king said to Joab and the commanders of the army who were with him, "Go through all the tribes of Israel from Dan to Beersheba and take a census of the people." So the rest of it's just them counting the people. So I'm going to skip some of that.
Yeah.
So where does it go to? Yeah, I'll skip down to verse 9 now. It says, Joab reported to the king the number of those who had been recorded in Israel. There were 800,000 soldiers able to draw the sword, and those of Judah were 500,000. So it's just finishing counting the people, right?
Yes, sir.
So, all right, down here in verse 10, it says, but afterward David was stricken to the heart because he had numbered the people. That's what God told him to do. And it says, David said to the Lord, I have sinned greatly in what I have done. But now, O Lord, I pray, take away the guilt of your servant, for I have done very foolishly. When David rose in the morning, the word of the Lord came to the prophet Gad, David's seer, saying, Go and say to David, thus says the Lord, 3 things I offer you. He's offering him 3 punishments here. He says, choose one of them and I will do it to you. So Gad came to David and told him, he asked him, shall 7 years of famine come to you and your land? Or will you flee for 3 months before your foes while they pursue you? Or shall there be 3 days of pestilence in your land? Now consider and decide what answer I shall return to the one who sent me. Then David said to Gad, I am in great distress. Let us fall into the hand of the Lord, for this mercy is great, but let me not fall into human hands. So David's saying I can't pick. He's just going to let the Lord pick, right?
Yeah.
Of the 3 punishments there.
Yes.
And here's what verse 15 says. It says, so the Lord sent a pestilence on Israel from that morning until the appointed time, and 70,000 of the people unalived from Dan to Beersheba. So God himself decided to unalive 70,000 people with a pestilence.
Wait, hold on. Keep reading. Why you stop? When the angel stretched out his hand to destroy Jerusalem, the Lord relented concerning the disaster and said to the angel who was afflicting the people, enough, withdraw your hand. The angel of the Lord was then at the threshing floor of... Okay, well, that's some big words. When David saw the angel who was striking down the people, he said to the Lord, I have sinned. I, the shepherd, have done wrong. But these are but sheep. What have they done? Let your hand fall on me and my family.
Yeah, so David is accepting the responsibility and asking why God has unalived 70,000 people for what he did. So where's the justice there? Because that just seems like psychotically evil to me.
Yeah, well, he made us, right? So he can kind of do what he wants with us. We can go back to that story of how he sent the...
That's not justice, though. That's just him being a psycho.
Did God send a bear to maul children? Is there a Bible story about that?
Yeah.
Okay, there is. So God sent a bear and he mauled a bunch of children with that bear. So that's pretty messed up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. We are creatures. We are creatures made by him. If you have a garden and you have flowers and the flowers become corrupted,
it's God,
you
so
can
God
pluck
can
them.
do whatever he wants, but not
it's his garden. It's his garden. He can pluck the good flowers early.
It's still not justice.
He can leave the bad flowers as long as he wants.
He's violating your sense of justice.
What? How do I get a say in anything? If there's an eternal God that made me,
I know you're taking
how is
that out of the question,
how is my opinion and my wants and my needs important at all?
Do you not have an opinion on whether unaliving 70,000 people for one person's doing what you want them to do? You don't have an opinion on whether that's bad or not?
We've already established that we're all going to physically die. One way or another,
sir,
we're all going to physically die.
You got
but
to
the
answer
true
the actual
punishment
question here. Are you listening?
Yeah.
You don't think it's justified, do you, to unalive 70,000 people because David counted people that you told him to count? You don't think that's justice, do you? What's your opinion? I'm asking you for your opinion on that.
It's unearthly to believe that our death here on earth, our physical body death, is the actual, it's the worst thing that could happen to us. It's not. If you're a Christian, the worst thing that could happen to you after you die is separation from God. right? If I get cancer, it's not because I did something bad.
You've got to
it's not because I'm
question.
repenting for my sins.
I hear you, but you got to answer my actual question. That's not what I asked.
Based on your definitions, yeah, it's pretty messed up. But when you look at the big picture,
no, I'm asking if it's your definition.
No, I guess not. No, because we're talking about an eternal God.
So it's my definition that unaliving 70,000 people for one person doing what you told them to do is bad. But you don't share my opinion. You're saying I'm wrong, right?
Yeah. Well, here's what it.
Okay.
What
So
the Bible
in your
says.
opinion, why is that okay?
Man will convict you, right? If I say, hey, man, Mr. Apostate Ape, sir, I saw a prostitute. You are the judge. How do you judge me? I'm guilty, right?
What?
If I tell you it, going back to the dog analogy, I run over the dog. I bring that to you. You are my judge. I wish you would
just answer my question.
But you are my judge, right? You find me guilty.
No, I just want to know your opinion on this. I want to know how you would square something like this in your own mind, in your own opinion, is what I'm asking you.
In my own mind, in my own opinion, I believe that God is righteous in his judgment. So if he wiped out the entire earth with a flood. So what are you talking about 70,000 people for this and that? He wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah. He told his men, go into the city, find at least one good man. Find one good man. They could not do it, so he wiped them out.
He unalives an entire group of Amalekites for losing a war 400 years before that. This is a justice that's psychotic.
That word unalive. So you use that word unalive. Can you use that word to define going to hell? Not physically dying. You are unalived when you go to hell, when you're separated from God. That's the unaliving I think of. Unalive, we all physically unalive, but your spirit, it dies when it's separated from God. So that's the unaliving I care about. That's the unaliving I'm worried about.
Yeah, that's what
those
I want
people.
To happen
If God killed those 70,000 people in Israel, those were Jews. Those were people that were following God. Those were people that were following his orders and praying to him. So he just took 70,000 people up to heaven.
Okay, I get you. So
okay. Right. So that sounds pretty justified, actually. It sounds quite justice.
It does to you, I'm sure.
Because they're in heaven.
So if God was doing something evil or unjust, how would you know that?
Like what?
If God was doing something evil or unjust and you was watching it happen, how would you know it was evil or unjust? How would you judge that?
Well, in my Christian belief, the devil is on earth. The devil's never been to hell. He's controlling the things that happen on earth. So although, when someone thinks hey, I want to go pew pew a school, I'm trying to use this TikTok language. I'm sorry, brother. Go pew pew a school. Is that from God or is that from the devil? If I want to go pew pew a church, am I getting that message from God or the devil?
That's what I'm asking you. How would you know?
Because if I want to know whether or not my thoughts are aligning with what God would tell me, I go to the Bible.
I'm asking you, if you was watching God commit these acts and it was evil or unjust, how would you identify if it was evil or unjust? If you was watching God do it,
That's the thing. Okay. God is watching us, but we are on Satan's domain. We're in Satan's earth. So bad things are happening. Agreeable?
Sure. I just want to know how you would tell if God was doing something evil, if God was doing something evil.
If God was doing something, I would go back to Scripture. If it doesn't align with what Scripture says, then it's not God doing that. It says, thou shalt not kill. If like the Pulse nightclub shooter went and shot 54 people, he comes and said, God told me to do that. That's not an act of God.
So is murdering people wrong?
Yeah, it's against the Bible.
So when God murders people, how is it not wrong when he does it?
Because he's the creator. He created us.
Okay, so he just gets to do whatever he wants because he's
with
God.
us.
There's
Yes.
no such thing as evil with God, right?
No, it's not that, but he can do what he wants with us. We are his children.
Yeah,
we are to obey him. We are to submit.
Even if he was doing something evil, you are incapable of telling if he was.
If he was doing something evil,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah, you wouldn't have a clue.
definition
You
of
wouldn't
your
know,
definition
because
definition
I
of
can read
evil
you
so
evil
far.
stuff here all day.
Hold
and
on,
you
hold
think it's
on.
good
Your
somehow.
so far, your definition of evil is when someone is quote unquote unalived. Like physically,
Murdered.
the physical body is.
Murdered.
Yeah, that's wrong when
Murdered.
someone does that. But God murders us when we get in car accidents, when we get cancer, when we get stabbed,
Yeah, so that's
when we're in
fucked
a
up, I
terrorist
think.
attack. God quote unquote, murders us that way. But really, he's
Yeah,
just
I know, and it's messed up.
no, it's not. The messed up part is when we
It is
separate
messed
ourselves
up.
from
You're
him,
literally saying he's
and then we
murdering
enjoy
us.
it. Huh?
Like, hello?
The what?
You're literally saying he's murdering us.
Yeah. Well, we're using our
Yeah.
definitions, right?
Yeah.
Really, it's not murder. He's ending our physical bodies, bringing us into the spirit world. The spirit world, our spiritual bodies are the most important ones. It's not our physical bodies.
Y'all scaring me, man.
Hey, I'm right here with you, brother. You have to think. You have to think. It's not a physical book. It's not a physical idea. This is a spiritual world, spiritual ideology. What happens
No,
to our
this is a
physical
real
bodies does
world.
not matter. Well,
It's
if
a real world where people are making excuses for clear evil.
what is clearly evil that Christians would be
Clearly
doing that?
evil is telling someone to count people, and when he does it, you unalive 70,000 other
Jews,
people.
70,000 Jews who were following God, who are probably in heaven right now.
Why would they go to heaven if they're being punished?
We are all being punished, right? We all
That
separate
wouldn't
ourselves
be
from
being
God.
punished. He would have been rewarding them for him being
That is a
angry.
reward.
Like, God
Going
don't
to
get
heaven
angry
is a
with people
reward.
and have them
We do,
unalived.
we
Just
do
go
not
to
get
heaven.
rewarded on earth. If you get $1 million, that's from
This
your own
sounds like an
doing or your own
extreme
luck.
cope on your part
No,
to deal with this. Instead of
Not
just admitting it's messed up.
no. The more you go into God and lead into God, the less easy your life becomes. Trust me on
What
that.
would you think? What would you think if God was making his chosen people eat their own children?
Oh, that would be crazy. Does the Bible say to do that?
God does do that, yeah.
God does do that.
Yep.
Does the Bible say that that's okay?
It says God made them eat their children. Do you
Does,
say that's okay? It sounded like you
does
just
it
said that
say
would be
that?
messed up. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does
but
say
now
that.
we're getting into hypotheticals on
That's why I
what
asked
the
you,
Bible
because
says.
yeah, I could show you where God does this to them. He makes them eat their own children.
All right, go to it. Let's go to it.
So okay, so when I go to it, you're gonna say this is messed up, right?
Probably not. It depends. Again, we're talking about a God that wiped out the whole earth besides 4 people.
What does it depend on?
A lot of things. There's a lot of atheists that bring up
Well,
how
a second
Abraham was
ago, I
going.
just asked
They
you
say, "Oh, why
hypothetically if
would
this would be
Abraham want to
messed
go
up, and you
sacrifice
said
his
yeah, but
son?"
now there's like
That
caveats and stuff.
God told Abraham to go sacrifice his son. That's crazy. That's evil. Why would God do that? God did that because He knew Abraham would obey His actual law. The actual law
If he
that's
already
written
knew it,
is
then
to
why
not
did he
murder
test
your
him?
child
If he already knew it, then why did he test him?
because he's obeying God. Oh, God came down
Okay.
in His voice, said,
So
"Hey,
when
I want
okay,
you to
so
do
all right,
this."
hold on a second.
So He went to do
All right,
that.
hold on.
But the law,
Sir,
the written
hold on.
law,
You got to hold on. You got to calm
contradicts
down there.
what
You
He
can't just
said.
keep talking over me. You're breaking the rules.
What? Hey, that's what you're doing, buddy.
Yeah, I'm
All
trying
right,
to get
let's
you
get to the
be
verse.
quiet
Let's
for
get.
a second. So exactly. So when I asked you this hypothetically, you said, yeah, that would be messed up. And then you asked me if it was in there, and I said, yeah. Right?
Yeah, but you also have to go through the context.
So, okay, so when I read this in context, and that's what happened, are you finally going to admit that God is doing something messed up?
Let's read it.
Or you got to tell me first.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've been
You're going
honest
to be
so far,
honest and
right?
say this is messed up, like you've already said, right?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, all right. Don't be going dishonest after this now. We all
All
heard
right.
you there. Okay. All right, verse 8, Jeremiah 19, it says, I will make this city a horror, a thing to be hissed at, and everyone who passes by it will be horrified and hiss because of all of its disasters. And I will make them eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and all shall eat the flesh of their neighbors in the siege and in the distress from which their enemies who seek their life afflict them. So yeah, he pronounces this evil against them, and then he makes it all happen.
Well, where does it say it made them happen though? It says he says, "I'll go do it." Hey, no. Saying
Was he
something
just
is different from
bullshitting
doing
with them?
something.
Was he just lying? Just
Hey,
what was it, like
show
a
me
empty
where he does it.
threat, or-
Show me where there's people eating babies. Show me where there's people
It
eating babies.
says,
I'm looking. I'm right here on
okay,
Jeremiah
all right,
with you.
listen, stop talking and I will. Verse 15. I am now bringing upon this city and upon all its towns all the disasters that I have pronounced against it. You heard one of the disasters he just pronounced, right?
Okay.
Okay, so he made it happen. He announced
Where
that it's going to happen.
he announced
and then
it? Where
made
does he
all
make it happen? He says it's a warning.
Holy crap!
He's
dude,
giving a
you're caught-
warning.
Dude, really? Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Where is it in the Bible that it says
He's
they are eating
pronouncing
babies?
this against
They
him,
will
and
devour
then
your
he
harvest,
says,
they will
I
devour
am
your
going
sons and
to
daughters.
make all this happen. He made it happen. Unless you're saying God just lied or he was just bullshitting, then this happened.
You're
if you want
claiming
an
that
explicit verse-
you're claiming that God commanded people to eat babies or that he allowed it to happen. I'm
says,
asking
"I
you, where
will
in this
make
book
them
of
eat the
Jeremiah
flesh of their
did it
children."
actually happen? It
And-
doesn't.
In the same chapter,
He just
it says,
just like
"I'm
how he
bringing
told
upon all
Abraham,
the
you're
sin-"
going to go sacrifice your
Hello,
son,
sir. You've
and then
got to
somehow
stop
it doesn't
talking.
happen.
Like, I know this is a desperate cope in your mind here, but you got to listen and track with me. All right? So here in a second, I will show you where it literally says this happens. But this time, you're going to have to admit that it is fucked up because you keep
Okay, let's
changing
try
the
one more
story
time then.
every single time.
Let's try one more time. Let's see if we can get it this time.
What are we getting?
To you to prove me wrong, I guess. I don't know. You
I'm-
said you were
already
just, you
have
just
in my
made the, you
opinion,
tried
you're
you
just
just tried to make
coping
this
with the
point
fact.
that God commanded people to eat babies or
Okay,
whatever.
so when God says,
and it's not
I
even
am
true.
now bringing upon this city and all of its towns and disasters, all I have pronounced against it, that to you means that he's not bringing on everything he just pronounced against it, right?
He said it's possible. He could bring the
Did he
possibility
pronounce
because
he was
he's the
going to
eternal
make
God.
them eat the flesh of their
He
sons
has
and
the
daughters?
power to do that. That's what
Did-
he's stating. He says he has the power to make that happen.
He
It doesn't
does
mean
make
he
it
went and
happen.
did it.
It does. It says it. I know you. I
Well,
know you
okay,
don't
let's
wanna
get to
deal
that
with
part.
but
That's the
it's
that's the part
literally
I
what
want.
it's saying.
I want the part where it says they went and ate the
It
babies because
says,
God
I
told them
am
to.
now bringing upon this city and all its towns the disasters that I have pronounced against it. So what was the disaster pronounced against them that we just read?
The various things you said, but it doesn't mean that they went and
Yeah.
did that.
It does.
Okay, show me where
And
it
I'm
says
willing to
that.
show you where it literally
It
happens,
said-
but you are going to have to admit, when I show you this time, you are going to admit you are
Okay,
wrong
this
and
time,
your
yeah,
God is
this
messed
time,
up.
this upcoming time, yes, sir.
So this time, when I show you that it actually says they were eating kids, you're going to be like, okay, my God's fucked up this time.
Yep, we'll do it.
Perfect. It's about time.
Uh,
I already know you're not, though.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think you're.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm about to show you how messed up your God is, and you're going to admit it this time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Here, I'm going to start reading at verse 19 here. It says, Arise, cry out in the night at the beginning
Wait,
of the watches.
I'm sorry.
Pour out
This
your
is-
hearts like
this
water.
is, Jeremiah?
Lamentations 2. No, this is Lamentations 2. It's telling the same story. This is describing the siege.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right. Arise, cry out in the night at the beginning of the watches. Pour out your heart like water before the presence of the Lord. Lift up your hands to him for the lives of your children who faint for hunger at the head of every street. Look, O Lord, and consider, to whom have you done this? Should women eat their offspring, the children that they have born? It's asking that as a rhetorical question. So it's literally saying, why are the women eating the children? So your God's messed up, right?
I'm getting there. Hold on, buddy. I'm sorry.
I just read it. Didn't you hear me?
Yeah, I read it. I'm on my Bible too.
It says,
where I'm
look,
reading
O
everything.
Lord, and consider, to whom have you done this? Should women eat their offspring, the children they have born?
Lamentations 2.
They're asking God why he's doing this. Aren't you ready to quit defending this kind of
Nope.
nastiness yet?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm reading right here. I got you, brother. Hold on.
You can't tell me you enjoy defending 70,000 people being murdered and people eating their own offspring.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it sounds horrible.
Yeah, no shit. Thank you. You can join us in reality whenever you're ready. I think you'll make a good atheist. I like your passion.
I was an atheist all through growing up.
Well,
Kind of
there's
question.
never too late to
What
turn
really
back to
what really
reality.
brought me back to God is it's impossible to explain how in Kerala, India, their church is
We're talking about
directly
India, man.
correlated to Saint Thomas, who was at the Lord's Supper. That church was established 70 years after Christ's death. So how a
Nice.
church in India, not even anywhere near Israel, ended up with a Christian church led by someone who says he was at the Lord's Supper. They have a perfect gospel in their language. It's perfectly.
Jesus has a tomb in Japan. These are cool stories. Hey,
Well, that's not the
so
real
let's go
tomb.
back
It's
to
it's the Holy
eating the babies
Sepulchre.
here in Lamentations chapter 2. And you
Yeah,
can
I'm on it.
admit to us that this is messed up beyond measure. You want me to just read it again?
Sure, you can go ahead.
It says, "Look, O Lord, and consider, to whom have you done this? Should women eat their offspring, the children that they have borne? Should priest
priests
and
be
prophet be
killed?
unalived in the sanctuary of the Lord?" Yeah, this is about God fulfilling his warnings. He was warning them. That's the same thing in Jeremiah. He pronounced against them that I will make you eat your children. And then he says, I'm going to make all the evils that I pronounced against you happen. So he literally makes it happen. Like, I don't understand how you can even begin to argue out of this.
And these stories, where it's talking, this guy, he's talking about how he's witnessing children being eaten by their mothers. That's the same. This is the same area post curse, correct? That they're talking about.
This is the siege of Jerusalem. This is when Nebuchadnezzar sieges the city and leads them away into captivity for 70 years. This is him literally fulfilling the horror he pronounced against Jerusalem. Like, he tries to warn them in Jeremiah. He's like, look, y'all got to turn back or bad things are about to happen to y'all.
Okay, we can read Lamentations
you're going to have
3.
to address the child eating first.
Lamentations
You have to admit
3,
this is messed up.
verse 37.
Nope. Go
To
back
crush
to the children
underfoot all
too.
prisoners in the land, to deny people their rights before the
Sir.
Most High, to deprive them of justice,
Nope.
who
All right.
would
All
not
right.
see the Lord, would
All right,
not
sorry,
the Lord.
man. He was cool, but I can't keep trying to rein you in over and over again. Sorry, man. Yeah, he was cool to talk to, but he's actually the exact type of person I like to talk to. Almost. But you got to actually calm down there. Yeah, I don't know why people just won't, like, when I was a Christian, I didn't know this was in there. Which is kind of scary because I know I've read it before, so it's beyond me how I got past that part without noticing that. But when this was strictly pointed out to me, what about this part here? I was horrified. I was like, I can't defend this. I was like, I don't even know what to say. Like, no scenario where my simple ass was going to sit there and try to justify that kind of thing. I was like, I don't know. I guess God knows because I don't. Like, yeah, you're like, I never dodged for a second these hard questions like this. So it's kind of crazy to me that other people do it, but I guess I get why. Welcome in, everybody. Back up to almost 50 people. Only need 18 more followers to get to 900. We are shooting upwards. Apparently, people like watching me smoke/get smoked on this channel. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, if you're still listening, buddy, like, need to read the parts that's addressing the actual parts there. Like, I wish there was somehow like an easier way to show people that their understanding is very flawed here somehow or another. I don't think, maybe JJ. Never mind. Oop. Thank you for the follow. I would really, really love to get to 100 followers today. That would be amazing. It's kind of hard to judge like what's going to happen with the channel. Like there's some days where let me compare some here. So there's some days where my views, like total people that came through on a live, was like 700 people, but I would get like 40 or 50 new followers. And then other times I'll have like 1,800 people come through, but I only get like 16 or 18 new followers. So it's kind of hard to judge. It's really cool trying to pick it up though. Welcome through, everybody. Welcome in. If it's your first time here, I debate Christians, and you can watch me, an undereducated hick from Alabama, perform the intellectual takedowns of Christian faith and logic here. Of course, you can't tell the Christians that sometimes, but seems to be the way I feel like it goes sometimes. But either way, this is pretty much a free speech platform. Of course, excluding TikTok banned language. There's nothing I can do about that. But say what you want. Just be able to have an actual conversation if you come up here. Like, I have to interrupt sometimes. Not just to keep people on point, but sometimes I have to say something to somebody in the comments or something. Stuff like that. Just be cool. Like, we all got to live together, man. Like, y'all are trying to help me by saving me. I'm trying to help y'all by saving y'all. Like, we're literally equal. Let's just talk about it. Just be cool, folks. Just be cool. All right, let's bring up Josh here. Josh, you there?
What's going on?
What's up, buddy? Are you over 18?
Yep.
Awesome. Are you a Christian?
Yep.
Fantastic. So which one of these topics did the Lord send you to debate us on today?
Sure. The Lord sent me to debate the Trinity is incoherent.
Cool. So I say it's incoherent because it makes no sense to me that Jesus would beg God to remove a burden from himself and say, do your will, but not mine. And also say no one's good except God, or say I can't do anything without the Father. Stuff like that don't make sense to me. So you think you could explain those?
Yeah, well, I can explain a comparison, and I think it will make sense when we look back at the Trinity. Is that okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, so a lot of people think that the Trinity doesn't make sense logically, right? But yet they hold time as being three separate entities in one concept of time. So past, present, future are all distinct. Would you agree?
Sure.
Yet they're all encompassed into the concept of time. Is time illogical?
I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't know. What? Are we still talking about the Trinity?
Wait, hold on. So now we can see that time can be completely logical and not incoherent. So does that mean
I didn't
that
say it was incoherent. I said I think it is logical.
Exactly, right? So then why is the Trinity incoherent if we have three distinct things within the one category, right?
Because three distinct things can't equal one thing. You're essentially saying 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 1.
Yeah. Okay, so the problem is that you didn't actually understand the comparison, right? Do you do you think that there's three parts of time, past, present, future?
I think we look at it that way, but time only moves forward. Depending on how you could probably do like not a philosophical, but
we could look at it from
a physics argument where space-time curves and stuff. So I don't even know what that means, but
sure. But if we're just looking at time moving forward, perfect, right? We could just take the common consensus. You can see that there was a past.
But I mean, the past can't be the future at the same time either.
No, but they're all in the concept of time, correct?
Sure, but they're not the same.
But hold on. They're all distinct in the same thing.
Right, but they're not the same thing specifically.
Yeah. And
Right.
in
So
Christianity,
Jesus, a
the
human,
Father.
can't also
Wait,
be
wait,
100%
hold
God,
on.
who is
I'll
some
justify
entity
it.
outside of space and time.
Yeah, so this comparison works well because you can understand the logic. Within the Bible, Jesus is himself, so his singular entity, so like past. The Holy Spirit could be the future, and then God could be the present, right? They're all distinct within the same thing. So when you're saying that that's incoherent, but time isn't incoherent, you're using like a double standard there, right?
No, not really. I want to know why, if Jesus is God himself, why is he asking himself to remove burdens from himself and saying, do your will, but not my will? I want to know why they have clearly separate wills, but they somehow equals the same will.
Sure, but we're looking at the most fundamental part of the question here, right? You're looking at the concept of the Trinity. You accept it in time, but you don't accept it in the Bible.
I'm just asking what I feel like is a real simple question about how can Jesus be God himself but have a separate will from himself?
But you're not answering the time question.
It's irrelevant to me. I don't
even
know what you mean.
You're pivoting over it. You're pivoting over it.
I don't even know you're pivoting over my question. Like, I asked you this originally, and you went to a time analogy, but I said I don't get that. You're just going to have to explain why God is Jesus but has two separate wills.
People, when you bring up the Trinity in the Bible, people just will not accept it, right? But if you bring up the concept, the exact same concept with time, you can see how ridiculous their previous reasoning is.
I didn't even agree with you on that. I don't think the past is the future.
But hold on. I'm not here to convert you into Christianity, right? I'm here to show you that time and the Trinity are both coherent, but you only think one is coherent, which is a double standard.
It's not.
So you're saying
time is fine. I have no issues with time. I'm talking about Jesus being God, but not being God at the same time. That is what don't make sense to me.
The past is not the future, but they are both time.
They both fit into that category, but you're saying they are the same, but they're not the same. You have to hold two contradictory positions to make sense of it.
Wait, no, hold on. Jesus is distinct from God, but they are both God. But if we were to look...
I know, that makes no sense at all.
You're saying that. So to make it make more sense, if instead of saying God, we say A, right? So Jesus and God equal A, right? Past and future equal time. It's the same thing. Your lack of coherency.
Past and future don't equal time. Time is just time, even if we had no concept of the past.
No, time is made up of three.
Okay.
What are you telling me? You're changing what time is now?
The past isn't talking to the future and asking the future questions about itself. That's why this is an invalid comparison.
Interacts? But why would that matter? I really don't understand. Why would that matter?
Because Jesus is asking himself to remove burdens from himself and telling himself to do his will, but not his will. That makes no sense. Who is Jesus praying to?
But I'm still not understanding. In accordance, if we were to look at this logic, true time.
I know you don't. But who is Jesus praying to?
Hold on. Please just tell me, in accordance to time, give me the same criticism in accordance to time.
Okay, it makes no sense that the past would ask the future if it couldn't be the past anymore. When the past is the future.
But that's not the fundamental question.
Yes, it is. That's what I've been asking you this whole time.
No, but hold on. You can go back, right? I'm here to show you. I'm here to show you the concept of the Trinity is not incoherent, right?
It is incoherent.
As I stated. No, I know you believe it is, right?
And you're making my case for me right now.
I'm not trying to convert you to Christianity. I'm not here to look at different biblical verses.
I understand.
Right?
I get it, man. You don't have to keep saying that. I just want to know who is
But you
Jesus
keep
praying to?
asking the question. Yeah, exactly. You're saying you're listening, but you're not. I'm not here
That's
to
because
give you
you're
a
not
Bible
making a
lesson.
proper analogy, I don't feel like, compared to what I'm
How is
asking
it an
you.
improper analogy?
Because time don't have nothing to do with this conversation to start with, and it's not even a valid comparison unless you're saying the past is the future, literally, but the past is also not the future. That's what you're saying here. That would be a more valid comparison. So who is Jesus
Okay.
praying to?
What Jesus praying does not matter to my argument, right? My argument is based
Who
upon
is
the
Jesus praying
concept.
to?
Yeah, I'm basing my concept. I'm basing my argument on the concept of the Trinity itself, not
I
on
am
the
too. I'm asking why,
No,
if Jesus is God, why is he praying to himself?
Why would that be relevant to the Trinity?
You have got to be kidding me.
Yeah, in the fundamental concept of the Trinity, why would that be relevant? Draw the relevance.
Because you're saying Jesus is God. You're saying Jesus is 100% man and 100% God. First of all, that's 200%. But it makes no sense that if they are the same person, he is asking himself questions.
Yeah, could you still haven't shown this?
You have got to be kidding me, man.
You do realize what is my question I'm asking you, because you're not answering it.
You keep asking me about time, and I've told you that's not a proper analogy.
No, not about time, right? Not about time. You're reading off a script in your head, right? You're regurgitating the same thing without listening.
Yeah,
What
and I
exactly
cannot
is
get an
my-
answer from anybody, coincidentally.
That's a you problem, right? If you keep asking the
No,
same
that's
thing and
a
you
y'all
can't get
problem
answers.
because you keep listening to this debate on this over and over again.
Well, if you have
Because you
multiple
refuse
people-
to address the actual point here. Like, everybody wants to know. We don't believe this nonsense. Why should we believe it? Why should it make sense to us that Jesus is God, but he's not God, but he's asking himself questions? That's the Trinity.
Yeah, I understand that. And I'm talking about the concept of the Trinity.
So who is Jesus praying to?
Oh my gosh. What do I mean by the concept of the Trinity?
Can you just answer the question? I've asked you like 10 times.
No, because it's not the dialogue
Okay,
I want
thanks for coming up. But if you can't even answer the question, that's an obvious admission that you've lost. So thank you. Thank you to Josh there. But you actually have to answer the questions. All right, so let's see who was next here. Ooh, Soldier was cool. I remember talking to him, but you got, I think you got 2 ahead of you, buddy. Let me see. If you don't mind hanging out for a minute, maybe these won't take long. They might not even be there anymore. Oh, McAdams is here, though. Maybe. McAdams, you there?
Yeah, sorry. I was just I'm not a Christian. I was just trying to, clarify your point where the past, the present, and the future can't interact with each other. They are separate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he was just ridiculous. So yeah, that's all I was trying to do.
I mean, I felt like I said that, but maybe
Yeah,
it takes 2 people.
100%. Yeah, in a different way for sure. Yeah.
Well, I said the past can't be the future at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, exactly. And then it can't interact with the future either. Like you said, it can't ask the future if it can't be the past anymore. Like that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, man. But yeah, thanks for that, buddy. Maybe I should ask that sometimes. All right, let's see if this fella's still here. Oh, okay. All right, CK, you're up then. All right. Goodness gracious. Soldier, what's up, dog?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. So I remember you're a Christian and over 18, so
Yes,
which
sir.
one we jumping on today here?
Well, I was going to comment on the who was Jesus praying to.
Oh yeah, please do.
Yeah, so Jesus was praying to the Father. You know, Jesus becoming a human, he had to submit himself to the Father.
Wow,
So
take
that's why he
notes
was.
there, buddy. I done forgot his name already. That's how you answer the question right there. So, all right. Well, that would rise to the next question, though. So, God is the Father, right?
God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
So, God is the Son and the Father, right?
Yes, and the Holy Spirit. Yes.
Okay, so you can't be the Son and the Father at the same time. That's
Yeah.
the incoherent part.
No, it isn't. They have the same nature. It's one nature, three persons.
Doesn't matter. They're still different people with different wills. That makes no sense that they're the same nature or whatever when they clearly have two different natures.
No, they don't have two different natures. They have
But
they all have the same nature, which is God.
no, I'm saying they do have some different natures because they have two separate wills. So it makes no sense that Jesus is praying to himself, asking him questions about himself. You see what I'm saying?
No, having two different wills doesn't make you have a different nature. I think that having
Sure
your
it
human
does.
nature and not knowing,
You can, why, unless you're saying God just has a split personality or something, like that makes no sense at all.
no, I'm not saying God has a split personality. I just don't believe that to say that because
Well,
they
if he
had
has two
different
separate
wills.
wills, then he does. Like, if Jesus is God, but he doesn't want to punish himself, but it's God's will to punish him, that doesn't make sense to say that they're the same person.
Well, he knows what has to happen. I think that
Then
was
why isn't he
something.
asking himself to not make it happen?
I think it was a message for us as Christians also that, even though we pray for things that, even though we may not receive them, so we understand that. So it's within the Father's will. So we ask for it and we ask whatever's within his will.
Yeah, but does it really make sense to you that I would ask me to remove a burden from myself that I wanted myself to have? That doesn't sound right, does it?
No, it's kind of, like I said, I think it's a message for us to show that even though we ask for something that we'll
Well, if it's
receive
a
it if it's
message
within the
to you,
Father's
it's a
will.
really weird one, isn't it?
I'll tell you, it takes some understanding. Sure.
Well, I'm really struggling to understand this.
I can tell. It's I mean, you asked some good questions, and provoke some thought.
Well,
It stretches your mind a little bit.
this is how I would have to make sense of it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm asking direct questions. I'm not trying to like set up some kind of weird underlying argument. You know what I mean? I'm getting to the point. I mean, like, it makes no sense that Jesus is God to me, but he's also asking himself questions, especially about things that he was enforcing on himself. You know what I mean? Like if he was dying on the cross, why would he ask God why he had forsaken himself?
Well, he was referencing the prophecy where David spoke about them piercing his hands and feet, and
Yeah, but he was asking God that in Psalm 22. He's saying, God, why have you forsaken me? I'm surrounded by enemies. He was praying to God. It was a lament.
yeah, we talked about this before.
But
It
if
was
Jesus was just like saying a quote, I mean, I guess he was just saying a quote. But even then again, like, even in other gospels, he would be saying like, me, I commit to me my spirit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the limit that you're talking about that David spoke was also a prophecy. Those things never happened to David, and Jesus fit the description of what they were talking about, or what that prophecy was
No, they
talking
were
about.
happening to David when he wrote Psalm 22. That's not an actual prophecy.
Yeah, it is. Well, we can say it wasn't a prophecy, but
No,
Jesus
it's a
still.
lament.
Well, okay. Well, even then, Jesus fulfilled this lament. Exactly as it showed. His hands and
By
feet were
quoting
pierced
it?
for our transgressions, and do what?
He fulfilled it just because he quoted it?
No, I'm saying it is a prophecy, but if you're not going to say it's a prophecy, it's weird that Jesus would go through the same things that lament specifies.
Well, he doesn't.
It
First of
does.
all, it
So
doesn't even say pierced. The most likely language used there was either like a lion or they bound or dug at my hands and my feet. It doesn't
yeah,
actually say pierced. That's not the word there.
yeah, the people that translate these Bibles are experts in their field, not just Christians, but atheists and agnostics that spend their lives doing these
Well, I'm
things.
saying in Hebrew. I've seen it translated a bunch of times.
I know,
I actually
but I'm
learned
saying
this from a rabbi.
my bad. What I'm trying to say is that the Bibles that we have today, we have no reason to believe that they're untrustworthy translations. Some of them translate in context,
we
and some
do.
of them translate literally.
Sure, but we know that the New Testament was doing bad translations of the Old Testament. That's not even a debate for real.
Honey, you said that the new translation was doing what with the Old Testament?
No, the New Testament was doing bad translations of the Old Testament, the Hebrew. Whoever wrote the New Testament, they couldn't even read Hebrew. They were reading it already translated into Greek. That's why they were getting some of the words that they were getting and not the actual Hebrew words.
Are you talking about the the Bibles are translated two different ways because translation is a difficult process. The King James version was translated literally to get the exact meanings of the words, and like the NIV was translated dynamically so that you have a better understanding of what the words are saying. But you
Sure,
can
I'm
go
just
to
saying,
the,
I've never heard anybody read the actual Hebrew that this is based on and come up with the word pierced right there. That's a church tradition, like a Christian tradition, not a Hebrew one.
well, if it was a church tradition, then it would have been changed by just Christians, and it wasn't. Like I said, these Bibles were translated
I
by
know,
people.
because they won't admit that it's wrong. They think it actually says that, like you do.
Well, I think that agnostics and atheists that translated this Bible had no religious affiliation to affirm what's in it. So I think that if we can
Yeah,
conclude
that's
that,
why they should be like the most unbiased, right? I would say trust them the most because they don't have a bias in the matter. When Christians translate it, they want it to be about Jesus, so they have a bias in making it say what they need it to say.
yeah, you're talking about when you take the Bible that's already been that as it is, and they translate it or they interpret it into what they think it means.
Well, I mean, pretty much like them saying virgin in Isaiah 7 or pierced in Psalm 22 or pierced in Isaiah 53. Never says that, not once. These
Yeah,
are
well,
all words that the Christians place on it as a matter of tradition because it had already been mistranslated earlier on, but they just left it there because it
well,
makes
no,
more sense to Jesus. If you change it, you start losing the context.
no, well, that's where it goes back to second. I believe it's Second Timothy 3:16, where it talks about all Scripture is God breathed. Some versions of the Bible give more depth. Some give more nuance. You know, like saying the King James version gives a little bit more nuance and depth to the words. And so we have no
You
reason
know,
to
the
believe
King
that
James
these.
Version says Easter instead of Passover, right?
I mean, I'm
You
not
know
sure.
what a major poo poo that is?
Let me see.
I think there's 2 or 3 separate occasions where it says Easter instead of Passover, and that's a major boo boo.
I don't know anything about that. It says that Easter in the KJV, Herod wasn't waiting for the Jewish Passover. He was pagan. He was waiting for his Easter. The Greek word is Pascha.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
them putting Easter in there instead of Passover is a major mess up. Because Easter is in fact a pagan holiday, an Anglo-Saxon one, so it makes sense that people from Britain back then would insert Easter in there. But it just goes to show you that they'll change it to fit what they want it to say over what it actually says.
So I'll have to look
That's
into
why they've
that.
left. Like most even modern Bibles will tell you, like in Isaiah chapter 7, they say the word in Hebrew is never virgin here. They'll say the word is alma. That just means a young woman. But like even most modern Bibles will leave the word virgin in there. They just put a note that says this isn't actually what it said. So at least they're being somewhat honest there, but they still left the text to say virgin and not young woman.
Yeah, I think
Never says
because
virgin.
I think maybe there's no definitive stance on what exactly it is, so they leave those context clues to show.
Well, it's tradition. They even tell you that. They say we're leaving it as a matter of tradition. They're preserving tradition of the Christian faith. But the problem is, that's not what it actually says. It's just tradition.
Oh, I mean, I know they have their own the things they do, but I'm not an expert in that field, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but I mean, changing that word is a pretty big deal as far as the context goes. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, without the words virgin there, then you don't have like the nativity scene. Like you don't have a birth narrative like that, or Jesus fulfilling the prophecies about being born in Bethlehem. Like those go away all of a sudden. If this isn't about a virgin, it becomes completely irrelevant. But the problems are actually worse than that anyway. But that's still if when I was a Christian, this kind of stuff that I'm bringing up was a big problems for me. That's why I debate them now, because these are what like struck me down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it says the KJV intentionally uses Easter in Acts 12:4. Because of Herod, I suppose they say Herod wasn't waiting for the Jewish Passover. He was waiting for his pagan festival, Easter. And so that's why that word is used there
Well,
instead.
Easter wasn't even around yet, so I don't know how they come up with that. But
So even then, even if a word Passover is changed, or is not changed, I'll say, is used instead of that to show
Well, it
that.
was changed. Easter wasn't even around in the time of Herod. Herod would have never heard the word Easter. Easter, it was the name of a pagan goddess from Anglo-Saxon, like 1,000 years after Jesus. Well, maybe not 1,000, but
Are you talking
650,
about?
750 years at least, I would think.
Are you talking about that little statue with like a bunch of eggs on its chest or something?
I think that's Artemis, but Easter was she was a straight up like Anglo-Saxon god. Like it's spelled Eoster, but that's where like Easter would have came from in the sense that the KJV was knowing it. It was an Anglo-Saxon thing. Other people say, like Elizabeth down here says Ishtar. Like, I'm not sure maybe that had something to do with it, but Easter that I know of was straight up Anglo-Saxon. So it makes sense that it would be in the KJV, which is a British Bible, basically. Anglo-Saxon.
So it says, I don't know. I got to do a little bit more research, and I can't give definitive answers. I like to be knowledgeable when I have these kind of conversations. But it's an interesting topic.
Oh no! Well, shit. I googled that real quick, but it just acted like I spelled roster wrong.
What are you looking up?
Easter. Well, this calls it Germanic, but yeah, it says it's a goddess associated with the spring, the dawn, and fertility. So, I mean, that makes perfect sense. That's when Easter is. It's in the spring, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it shows how I guess Easter didn't exist the way we know it today, but the word did. The English word did.
Yeah, there's even a note right here that says the connection to Easter. It says the name Easter is believed to have originated from Easter, which is the one I was talking about, the goddess. And it says though the Christian holiday was established later, and its time influenced by existing pagan festivals.
What's the verse?
Ouchies. Which verse?
In the KJV, does it talk about Easter?
Oh, I don't remember the verse explicitly. We can look it up real quick. Acts 12:4. That's actually, I was thinking it was a different book.
Yeah, so in Acts 12:4, let's see. It is after arresting him and put him in prison, handing him over to be guarded. Oh, I'm reading from the. Hold on, let me look it up real quick.
I was about to say, that don't sound British at all.
Yeah, my bad. I was over here reading from my NIV version.
Yeah, you can tell when you read the KJV because it uses a pretty explicit language there. Yeah, it says attending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Dang. Yeah, major blunder there, KJV.
Okay, so let's see. Where's it at? So
I thought it said at least a couple times.
If you go to verse 3, it says, when he saw that this pleased the Jews, he proceeded to seize Peter also. This happened during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is after the Passover. So we already know that because that line shows that it was the Passover had already happened. So them placing Easter in there wouldn't.
Yeah, but it says after Easter.
Yeah, so even then it would
him after it, so it's saying after that. So
even then it's just telling you after a time period, even though they a word
Right, but
Easter is
after
used
Easter, the
instead of.
word Easter shouldn't be there. The word should be Passover, like it is in literally every other translation ever.
Well, that would be like saying that each translation has to say the exact same thing through and through, which that would mean that there wouldn't be any
Well, I
need for
mean, if
any other
all of them say
translations.
one thing and one of them don't say it and uses a really subject word, like, wouldn't it be more reasonable to say the KJV got it wrong instead of every other one?
I do understand what you're saying. I used to have that same conflict on why one says one thing and one says the other. But what really matters is what it's trying to portray, and it's trying to show you that these things happened after the Passover. Even though one says Easter and one says Passover, it's still portraying the same thing, that it was
It
after
should
this
say
time period.
Passover, not Easter. Easter is a major mess up there. Easter's something completely different than anything it could have possibly been talking about.
Well, like I said, it's showing. It's
Like,
showing.
I wonder if the New King James Version fixes the. That's a
It
good
was
question.
it was showing the Herod celebrated that day. It's the festival that he was waiting for.
Let's see. Ah, the New King James Version says Passover. They actually fixed it in the New King James.
Well, I wouldn't say fix it. Like I said, all scripture is God breathed.
Yeah, except the parts that's wrong, right?
Well, I wouldn't say it's wrong. It's still true because it
Well,
shows
gotta be
that
wrong.
Herod
They
was
can't be
waiting.
right. They're holding contradictory positions.
No, they're not.
Either only one of them's right or they're both wrong.
No, that would be like saying
They
that
are.
every translation has to say the same
Like
thing.
Matthew says that Jesus was born in the lifetime of Herod, but Luke says he was born during the census of Quirinius. That was a decade later after Herod had already died. So he can't have been born in the time of Herod and in the same time Luke is saying he's been born in. So one of them is wrong. Either that or they're both wrong.
Right. Those things are not trying to say that Jesus was born at a specific time. They were trying to say that he was born in a time period, in the time of Herod, and then in the time of the consensus, around that time, not a specific date.
Yeah, but he can't have been born in both time periods because Herod was already dead for nearly a decade at the time of the census of Quirinius. So he can't have been born in the lifetime of Herod and during the census of Quirinius.
That's what I'm saying. It's not talking about specific days. It's not talking about, one is not saying he had to been born at 4 BC or at 10 BC.
They can't both be right, though.
What I'm saying is that they're portraying time periods. One is not, but it would be weird if one was portraying a time period and another one is portraying another time period that was like thousands of years apart or hundreds of years apart. That wouldn't make sense. No, it's only 10 years apart.
It doesn't matter because they're confirmably in different periods. Herod did not live during the time of the census of Quirinius. Even if it was a year later, it can't be right.
Yeah, but what it does not say is that Jesus was born in 4 BC, and the other one says that Jesus was born in 6 BC. They're saying that Jesus was born during this time period.
Because if he was born in Herod's lifetime a couple years before he died, it would have been like 2 to 4 BC. So yeah.
No, but I know what you're saying. You're saying that because he said that it had to be in the time period of Herod, that it had to have been between. I think he died in 4 BC, and reigned in like a certain time period.
It would only make sense to both stories if Herod was alive during the census of Quirinius. If Herod was alive during that, both could be right at the same time because they wouldn't be having contradictory details. The problem is Herod died quite a while before the actual census there, so it cannot be both accounts be right.
Yeah, so we want to understand what the artist or what the writers are trying to portray, and it's showing that Jesus was born during the time periods of these two different events. That it happened sometime during that event, not that it happened on a specific day.
Bethlehem, they was trying to put Jesus being born in Bethlehem, but they told two different stories is the problem, and they have different contradictory details.
I don't know about that one. You're talking about whenever he's.
I just gave you one example, but one gospel says after Jesus is born, they flee. Matthew says they flee to Egypt and stay there till the death of Herod, right?
Yeah.
Luke says they do the purification ritual right after Jesus is born and go straight back to Nazareth. So he couldn't have went to Egypt and also straight back to Nazareth. So only one of those can be right as well.
No, I'll have to do a little bit more.
Different stuff you can reconcile though, like Matthew says, for example, the 3 wise men visit, right?
Yeah.
Luke says that shepherds visit Jesus and not the wise men. But you can kind of just say, could have been shepherds and wise men. You know what I mean? That actually kind of makes sense. You can make that argument. But you can't make the argument that Jesus went to Egypt until Herod died, but also was purified in Jerusalem right after he was born and went straight back to Nazareth. See what I'm saying? Those are completely contradictory. You can't reconcile those.
Which one? Which verse is that? Do you know the
Which ones?
both of those? Which where one of them says that they escaped to Egypt, and the other one says that.
Yeah, Matthew chapter 2, verse 13 to 15 talks about the escape to Egypt. And then Luke chapter 3, I think, either 2 or 3, says they were born and go straight back to Nazareth. Oh, yeah, it says Jesus presented. Yeah, it's Luke chapter 2. Yeah. Matthew 2, Luke 2.
So let's say Luke 2, it says that when they had performed all things according to the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own city, Nazareth.
Right.
Let's see, Matthew
Yeah,
2
Luke says they flee to Egypt because of a vision to escape Herod unaliving all the babies in and around Bethlehem's. But Luke is literally saying they do the purification ritual right after he's born and go straight back to Nazareth. That's in verse 39. It says, when they had finished everything required by the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own town of Nazareth. The child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. He was favoring himself there.
I think that Luke 2 is supposed to be like the shortened version of what happened, and Matthew 2 is supposed to be a little bit of what they did on their way there during that time. So he, like, the end of Matthew 2 says,
Luke's
and then they were
fixing some mistakes that Matthew's making. Here's what's happening.
No, I wouldn't say they're mixing. They're trying to fill in the gaps. What they're doing is, like I said, the Bible's written in such a way that you have to figure out what they're saying. And so one of them is saying, Luke 2 is saying that
that's what I already did. That's how I know these are irreconcilable differences. They can't have been born in Bethlehem and then fled to Egypt for several years and then went back to Nazareth. When Luke says, soon as he's born, they go do the purification ritual for a newborn and then go straight back to Galilee. Like, one of these stories is wrong.
Yeah, well, it does not say as soon as he's born, they did all these things and returned to Galilee.
When do they do purification rituals on babies?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that they do them.
A few days after they're born, right?
There's nothing in the Bible about infant baptism.
You certainly don't wait a few years to do all the purification rites and circumcision, do you?
No, I'm not an expert in that field. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I
we can just go by the text and assume that as soon as Jesus is born, they do the purification ritual and circumcision, and then they go straight back to Nazareth. Whereas in Matthew, they flee to Egypt for several years until the death of Herod, and then come back. So they're completely different. Like, Luke never says anything about Egypt at all. There's nothing in here about it.
Yeah, like I was saying, Matthew 2 is showing what happened during that time, and at the end of it says, and then they returned and settled in Nazareth.
Right, but it just made more problems.
I didn't make any more problems. It's showing the depth of what they did during that time.
Yeah, but it can't be right if you compare it to Luke.
Yeah, can they both agree that Jesus ends up in Nazareth? There's no contradiction there.
There is. The contradiction is what happens right after he's born.
No, you're assuming that they had to have done that right after they're born, but that's not what that's not what the writers are trying to portray.
Says. That's the only reasonable inference here.
No, it's not the only reasonable inference. The only reasonable inference is that...
I'll tell you what. We'll Google it and we'll say how long traditionally Hebrews used to wait to do the purification rituals, and that should solve it. So, how long after birth did ancient Israelites do the purification ritual? It said around the 40th day.
Yeah, Luke never says they immediately went to Nazareth. It
So
just says they
40
eventually.
days minimum. They couldn't even have made it to Egypt in 40 days.
Yeah, well,
Well,
like I
maybe
said,
they could have, but that'd have been pushing it.
yes, they could have made it over there. Yeah, but like I said, it just shows that they eventually
Barely.
did.
Not for years, dude. No. I think the context and traditions on my side here.
No, because like I said, we want to see what the Bible does say and what it does
It
not
is,
say.
because you can't explain the several year gap and the difference in where they go after the purification ritual.
Yeah, you're focusing too much on the time period. It doesn't have to be a certain time period. It says that it never said that he went there
Yeah,
immediately.
because it's contradictory to another. That's why.
No, it's not. We have to figure out what the writers are trying to tell us.
Yes, it is.
No, you're trying to act like these two
We
writers
can
didn't.
just read what they say. Yeah.
Yeah, we can read what they say, and it does not say that he immediately went to at Nazareth. It says after. It says after they
Yes,
performed all
it does. It
the.
says after they finished everything required by the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee. So after the 40th day or so, they did the
Yes.
purification ritual and went back to Nazareth.
Yeah, exactly.
He
It
could
does
not
not
have
say.
spent years in Egypt and then went to Nazareth if this account is true.
Oh, of course they could have. He's not saying immediately.
No,
He's
they
saying they
couldn't
eventually
have.
did. Huh?
You have got to be kidding me. You just
No,
heard me read that, right?
Yeah, like I said, we're going to
When
disagree,
they had
but
finished everything required by the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee. When they had finished everything required by the law, when they finished the purification rites, when they finished Nazareth.
yeah. So let's see. Jesus is born in Bethlehem, circumcised as a baby at 8 years old. Luke 2:21. It's a purification ritual completed 40 days later. Luke 2:22, and then said they go to Jerusalem to present Jesus at the temple. Luke 2:22 to 38, and then the wise men visit, and then Joseph warned in a dream, and they flee to Egypt, and then Herod dies, and they return to settle in Nazareth. So that would be the official timeline of how things
You
went.
have a several year difference in when Jesus arrives in Nazareth.
Yeah, it's not Luke 2 is not saying that it was done immediately. It's saying it happened eventually.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. They
I know
weren't
you,
even supposed to be in Bethlehem. They were there for a census. How long do you think they was going to stay there?
I
They
have no
only went
idea.
there to get counted.
Say it
Well,
again.
sure, but it doesn't make sense to say they went to Bethlehem to be counted by a census and say, "Oh, we'll just stay here a year or two."
I don't think they went to Bethlehem to be counted by a census. I think they
That's literally what it says. That's why they are there.
maybe
Your position's crumbling here, I feel like.
no, I just don't know. I don't know everything about the Bible. I know what I'm trying to understand and what I do understand. So, like I say, I don't claim to be an expert in everything.
Well, sure, but I mean, you just said something that's not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't claim to have the full truth. You know,
Okay.
I could be wrong on things. I don't. I can be corrected.
That's cool. I respect that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
too. But you got to give me an actual reason to be corrected here,
I'm
because
telling
the
you,
words are backing up what I'm saying.
no, you think the artists or you think the writers are fighting each other on what actually happened, but like I
They're
said,
not fighting
these
each other. They're just giving two accounts that aren't lining up when you compare them. That's all that's going on.
yeah, that would mean that their writings are against each other. But like I said, we're trying to understand what they're trying to say, and the events show that
Luke wasn't attempting to validate Matthew. Luke was writing his own account.
Luke and Matthew were disciples of Jesus. They walked and talked with each other.
No, Luke was no. Luke was supposedly a traveling companion of Paul. Luke was not a disciple.
Yeah, I know
with Jesus.
they all yeah, they were all disciples of Jesus.
No, man, you just keep saying things that are terribly, terribly wrong. Matthew perhaps was, but whoever wrote Matthew wasn't actually Matthew. You know that, right?
Yeah, the Matthew's always been accredited to Matthew. The book of Matthew.
No, it's been accredited since about 200 years after Jesus, when Ignatius accredited it to Matthew, not because the gospel is signed by Matthew. It makes no
Yeah,
sense that
Irenaeus and
Matthew says Jesus met Matthew. He would have said he met me if he was actually writing it in first person.
you can writers do that all the time in ancient text. Speak about themselves in I believe the third
Do they?
person it is.
No, there's only one who ever did that, and that was Julius Caesar. And he did it because he wanted the people in Rome to think somebody else was writing about him. Well, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, see,
But I know
Julius Caesar
Julius
was,
Caesar is literally the only person in antiquity that did that.
no, he's not. But when it comes down to the Gospels, even Irenaeus and Papias confirmed the Gospels in 120 AD and 180 AD. And even then, like I said, we
It
don't have
wasn't
an
Matthew,
instance.
man.
We don't have an instance where the book of Matthew is accredited to like Luke or John or anybody. It's always been accredited to Matthew. Each different
As a
copy that's
matter
been
of
copied.
church tradition, this is what I'm saying. They preserve a lot of traditions that Christians today think are like truth, like they're facts, just because it's tradition. But that doesn't make them truth. They're wrong,
Yeah.
in fact.
Yeah, over 2,000 years, we can show that the message of the Bible has not been changed. We don't have any reason to believe that it has been changed or that.
It's been changed a lot. It has. One
No,
of the
like I
most
said,
famous stories in the Bible didn't even come along till about 1,000 years after the fact.
yeah,
You know
like
what
I
story
said,
that is? Care to take a guess?
what was that?
You don't want to guess? It's a real famous story. It's probably the most famous story about Jesus in the Bible, and it didn't even come along until 900 or 1,000 years later in a Latin version.
And what was that? Where he walks on water?
No, it's the story of the adulteress. They
Oh,
brought him before Jesus. So he said, "Let he who has no sin cast the first stone."
oh yeah. Well,
Yeah, that don't even come along until 1,000 or 1,200 AD.
the crazy thing is that we can date these the documents that we use to reconstruct the Bible and show that these events happened in the first century. So I don't know how they would come about 1,000 years later
Sure,
when experts agree
that
that.
hurts you when there is surviving script like Greek manuscripts that talk about this, and then 500 years later, there's other ones that don't say the same thing. Like that hurts you. It doesn't help.
What are you talking about?
Like just for example, no early Greek manuscript of Mark has every single one of them ends at chapter 16, verse 8. That's it. They all stop there. It isn't till later on in Latin versions, hundreds of years after the fact, that somebody said, hey, this ending don't work for me. We need to add a few more lines on here. The 12 lines after that, like Jesus actually shows up resurrected in Mark, were added long after the fact. But they're in no original manuscripts at all. They all end at chapter 16, verse 8. Stuff like that, though. And the adultery story. So it definitely gets added to and changed along the way. In major ways, too. And every time it does get changed and the changes seem to stick, the Christians always think that it was truth there from the beginning, but it's almost never the case. Unfortunately. Do you know what the last verse of Mark usually is in the Greek manuscript?
No, I've heard a little bit about it.
It's actually pretty crazy. All the original manuscripts of Mark end with Mary Magdalene and her friend, where the young man in white says, "Go and tell the disciples that Jesus will meet them in Galilee." And it says, "But they were terrified and amazed, and they told no one." The end. That's literally how it ends. The originals.
What in Mark?
So somebody around 300 or 400 AD said, "You know what? This ending ain't working for me. Like, I think we need to have him showing back up or something." But they ruined Mark because that was the genius of it. I think like that was the punchline.
Oh, that's
it.
I don't know. Oh, sorry. You okay, baby? Okay. Hey, I got to get off here, man. But it's been a great chat, man. I hope to do it again sometime.
Yeah, back at you, buddy. I'm on air today.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Have a good one, man. Well, and another one. Prima Scriptura. I don't know, man. I can't do the conversations where I have to repeat myself 10 times or listen to someone else repeat themselves 10 times. All right, let's see. Oh, shit. Creeping up on 4 hours already, actually. Let me think. No, I'm going to have to. Yeah, sorry, man. I thought about bringing you up for a second, but I really don't have long enough to do it anyway, I don't think. So I think we're going to have to chop it here for today, everybody. If y'all want to check out my YouTube channel, which is also Apostate Ape, you can catch these replays. I put them on here every day. Today was number freaking 30, baby. And we're going to keep it rolling. I'm planning on coming on every morning as long as I'm able here. At least for the foreseeable future. So once again, thank you to everybody that showed up. Got a ton of followers today. Didn't quite make it to 900, but went up a lot though. I had 68. Shit, almost 20. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Ask real quick, Elizabeth. Actually, I still got a minute. That was super quick, but I still got 5 or 10 minutes safely. But you really want to see and know the truth. Was that your question? Sure, I want to see and know the truth. Yes. Yes, the answer is yes. Give me a summary of it, like a video's got the truth, huh? What's it about, Elizabeth? What's the subject matter of said video? Religious school, that's interesting. Maybe I should go to religious school. Nah, I'm just kidding though. I'd burst into flames as soon as I got through the door. Tablet scrolls, floor of the Bible, and everything. Yeah, I think I'm good. I appreciate it though. You can come debate if you want though. I'd love to talk to you about it. Alright, let me glaze back over some of these comments here. he might have been Follow Dragon. I ain't sure. Well, I don't know. He didn't really strike me that way, honestly, because I have actually had people doing that, and like I knew he was doing it. He kept pausing out, and he was literally just coming back with like Catholic answers or us, like. But every time he would pause out, and I finally just told him, I was like, bro, you can't keep pausing after every time I asked you a sentence. But I could tell by, he asked me if he could run the Kalam thing for a minute or some shit. And he said, premise 1, do you think the universe had a beginning? And I said, no. He goes, okay, never mind. Let's go on to something else. I was like, yeah, what? I was like, shit. Well, that was easy. But he's actually a really nice guy. But it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Oh, well, yeah. If you don't see the point. Time. Later, brother. Later, brother. Yeah, I got a little bit of work to do today. Not too bad. My business is getting rough out there, y'all. But I guess a lot of places are. But it gives me time to do this. There's always an upside. Which I'll be making time anyway. I'm actually working hard at this, man. This is 30 days in a row, right? And I make myself read a good bit of Jeremiah and Isaiah all the time just so I stay fresh on it. Even though it's boring to read it again, it helps me stay fresh, and I know that. So I'm doing stuff like that. But I'm also like structuring my day around the mornings where I used to use this time preparing for my work day, which I have to do that earlier and stuff now. So I'm really working for y'all hard out here. So hope y'all appreciate me as much as I appreciate y'all, because I really, really do. Love having these conversations, even when they're hard, even though sometimes I want to rip my hair out. I, of course, do not. So I'm cool there. Fish, come back tomorrow. Prima, you too. I've actually only got a few more minutes here. But I don't know about Prima, though. I'll have to think about it. Maybe I'll give him another chance. Maybe he deserves another. He's actually pretty cool. Like, he don't spaz out or nothing, but he keeps repeating the same things over and over again. Like, we can't get to an actual point. But other than that, it was cool. Maybe that'll be right there. Yeah, sorry, Fish. Come back tomorrow, though. I'm on here every morning, so Love to talk to people, man. And I ain't like the, I don't know if you've been here before or whatever, but I get compliments all the time for not being like the other atheists where I just mute people the whole time and holler. I'm pretty chill. I go for the hard points, but like, I ain't here to name call and get in shouting matches and that kind of bullshit. I don't do it, man. I just try to get to the point. I don't care about philosophical jargon arguments. We can just talk like two normal average people. And I think that's all we got to do ultimately. Because ultimately, that's all I can do. I don't try to act smart. That's almost crazy. I can't even say it with a straight face. Yeah, just get to the point. That's what I'm saying. Like, why do you want to argue about underlying justifications for justice? Like, justify it with something when you can just agree on what justice is and see if God holds up to that or not. Like, it's that easy. That's all you got to do. We don't need to have a 30-minute epistemology debate. Like, you ain't got to be a genius to understand people's words, man. Like, if somebody says something out of the way, like, even an idiot's going to know something's wrong with what you just said. You know what I mean? Like, if I say, I'm going to go argue with me, even the dumbest person out there is going to say, yeah, that don't make much sense. And I'm like, no shit, it don't make any sense because it's a weird word. You know what I mean? It's like that. So that's all we need, yo. That's all we need. That's why I'm entertaining, because I get to the damn point. But anyway, Zombified, thank you, man. Thank you for the heart. We're about to close shop for the day. I've only got 2 more minutes and I have to close it out or I can't upload my thingies, my video thingies, if they're over 4 hours. And I've been on since 8 o'clock sharp, I think. But I will be back tomorrow morning. So we will catch you all later. And everybody, again, thank you for everything. We'll catch y'all the next time. The